Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. What a weekend of sports that was. Jazz preseason game, Grizzly game, Utes win, Cougars win, Aggies get beat. Bad second half for the Aggies. Maybe it was a late night in Honolulu. I don't know what it was. There was a lot going on. That didn't count all the NFL stuff. Let's start with the Utah Mammoth. The Mammoth get their first win in Nashville. You know, one of the big tests for these guys this year is, they played well last year and they're really competitive and they hung in there. And if you're looking for an edge, there are just too many times when either the game's hanging in the balance in the third period, they couldn't get the big goal, or they gave up the big goal. Or it's tied and they go to overtime, they go to the shootout, they can't get the big goal. And Nashville was everything about this year that needs to be different than last year. They're battling. It's 2-1 going to the third. They needed the big goal. They get it. And they get what Mike Folta likes to call the greasy goal right in front, right? You're trying to screen the goaltender. The puck hits you. Instead of getting the deflection or the redirection of the screen or any of that, it just drops on the ice. So now, who's first to the puck, who can score in front of the goal, and McBain does. And so it's 2-2. And then they get the goal in overtime. So 2 big road goals, tie it up 2-2, get the goal in overtime, win 3-2, and get 2 points. Now they got Chicago coming up. They could get, and should, because Chicago's out, they haven't been good. They've been bad for a while. They're in a rebuild. Who knows how long it's going to take. And they're off to a poor start this year. So Get the win in Chicago, and you come home with 4 points in 3 games on the road. You got to love that. If the Mammoth average more than a point a game on the road, you got to assume they're a playoff team, right? So this could be a very good road trip to start the season if they get it done in the third and final game. But they got it done in Nashville. And for more on that, let's get to the best of the postgame show.
DJ and PK, the Utah Mammoth tied it up late and then won it in overtime. First win of the year on Saturday in Nashville. Dylan Gunther scoring 3-on-3, winning a puck battle along the wall, passing it to himself, and getting it to the back of the net.
Loose puck. Gunther is able to drag it in front. Gunther scores! Dylan Gunther says goodnight in Music City. A Broadway special. Gunther goes 5-hole on Soros.
It was a game where Utah was off and running early. Logan Cooley, 2:21 into the opening frame, taking a beautiful pass from Dylan Gunther to get the scoring started.
Utah has numbers up the ice. Gunther, backhand in front, they score! Logan Cooley finishes off the chance, and it's 1-0. A quick strike.
And in the third period, trailing by a count of 2-1, Jack McBain was on the doorstep to hammer it home.
Schmaltz on the forecheck, as is Jack McBain, who comes rumbling down to the corner. There's Keller up top. Dursey, wrist shot, blocked, rebound, score! Number 22 has tied the game at 2. Jack McBain buries one past Soros.
So Utah finds a way to win after a contest where they took an early lead, and then Nashville quickly tied it 5 minutes and 2 seconds later. Followed into a second period where the Mammoth went shorthanded 4 times, took 6 penalties, and the penalty kill stood tall, but they found themselves down 2-1 going to the third. In the third period, a Nashville goal to make it 3-1 was disallowed after Utah challenged it for being offside and won the challenge, paving the way for another successful penalty kill to keep it 2-1, for McBain to tie it, and Utah to win at 3-2. Karel Vamelk, another great performance in goal. He stops 20 of 22 in the contest, and he's allowed 2 goals in each of Utah's first 2 games, starting out that 5-year contract, looking very, very solid in between the pipes, and Saturday was his 200th career NHL game. So not perfect, not pretty, but 2 points in the bank. Just the same for the Mammoth. They get the victory over the Nashville Predators on Saturday. Back in action tonight at 6:30. It's a game you'll hear right here on the KSL Sports Zone. Hockey Night in Utah starts at 5:30, looking to make it 2 out of 3 on the trip before coming back here to Delta Center The home opener is Wednesday against Calgary, 7:30 face-off, home with San Jose on Friday, Boston on Sunday. So looking to make it a good road trip before coming home to kick off the home slate. Let's hear from Dylan Gunther. He caught up with our own Sarah Merrifield right after the contest.
I mean, we're getting so spoiled with these finishes, and can you walk me through what happened in that final few minutes?
Yeah, I mean, a little sloppy. I haven't played the 3-on-3 in a while, but, got a puck back and had a lane, so it took it to the net, and luckily it went in. It was a big win for us. Can
you describe the effort as a team that it took to overcome the adversity you guys faced in this game?
Yeah, a lot of penalties. Kill was really good, so just stuck with it. Pretty scrappy. Banner got a big greasy goal for us, and I'm on to the next game now.
And as far as this, road trip continues, you guys are facing divisional opponents. Getting every point matters, right? Can you explain the importance of that, especially right now?
100%. I mean, we've said it before, how the games in October are huge for us. So it's a big 2 points, and on to Chicago now.
Enjoy this one.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Dylan Gunther becoming just the 4th player in NHL history to record 5 game-winning goals in overtime before his 150th career NHL game. Cole Caulfield and Kirill Kaprizov, the other active NHL players, and Punch Broadbent, who played in the NHL from 1919 to 1926. The other 15th career game-winning goal for Dylan Gunther as well in that contest. We heard from Andre Turney as well after the contest. Here's what Bear had to say.
I like our resilience. I think we probably had our big game, and we talk about mental strength and being tough mentally. We got in the box a little bit too much in the second, and instead to fold, we really bounced back and played better in the third. We had better battles, and we were resilient. So happy about that part of the game. I think it's a good character for us, and that's who we want to be as a team. It's not always our A game. It's how we react to adversity.
What were your points of emphasis to the group going into the third, especially, considering all the adversity and the penalty minutes? What did you want to see?
That was about that. I think the player talked in the room about staying outside of the box, stay out of the box, and I talked a little bit about the quickness of our decision with the puck, and we need to win battles. I think the other side, we know they worked really hard. They were heavy in their battle. They put us through adversity, but like I said, I like the way we respond in the third.
And the work of your video crew tonight. I mean, I know there was a critical moment. What can you say about those guys?
That's why we're always rely on those guys. They're the brain of the operation. They do a really good job. So good on and Rep. They did a great job.
Are stick penalties more frustrating than other types of penalties?
They're all frustrating. Unless to deny a scoring chance, they're frustrating. We'll clean that up.
McBain, just his push, his drive to get net front. Tell us a little bit more about that goal effort.
And at key moment, I think his intensity and his battle, his pushback. I think McBain is one. I think Turbo's another one. I think when we were in deep water, he really stood up for me, and see his play, his intensity, his battle level. He was a difference maker for us tonight.
What can you say about the gel of Cooley's line in these last 2 games? Gunther said speed was their asset.
Yeah, it's coming. I think they were better than in Colorado, and they will keep getting better. Like I said before, it's tough for them. They never played together, and they arrive and they need to gel right away, and we're in a situation where we want to win every game. So like I often say, win no rush as long as they do it right now.
Looks like a tough hit on Dursey there at the end. Any update on him?
No, I don't have an update. Thank you.
Thanks.
So Utah fights through some penalties. They started the game slow in the face-off dot. Nashville won 14-17. Utah still without Barrett Hayton and Alexander Kerfoot. But the thing on Saturday night was just what good teams do, and that's find ways to win, even when you don't have 60 minutes of hockey. Tonight, it's the Blackhawks. Chicago is 0-3 on the season so far. Utah will look to drop them to 0-4. Before we get out of here on this Monday morning, we heard from Jack McBain, too, after the game on Saturday.
Wow, heck of a way to finish that one. The adversity in this game, what kind of effort did it take for this team to overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I think we showed a lot of resilience. There were a lot of penalties and stuff in the second period. maybe not our best stuff, but we stuck with it really well and got a good team win there, so it was great.
What was the point of emphasis in that intermission going into the third to clean things up and get back to the game you guys want to play?
Yeah, I think, we talk a lot as a group, just staying with it. We want to be in those close games. We got to feel comfortable in those games, and, those are the games we got to win. So I thought we did a really good job coming out in the third and just staying with it and being patient, not forcing stuff.
What can you say about the fact that Gunther continues to impress everyone in these late moments?
He's a good player. But no, obviously he's doing a lot of really good stuff, fun to watch, so it's good for him.
Driving through, making sure you're net front to get your goal. Can you just walk us through your determination to get the puck up to Keller and then crash the net?
Yeah, obviously him and Schmaltz are really good players, and playing with them, they're high possession guys that can make really skilled plays. So just try to get space for them, go to the net, and lucky good thing happened there and came to me. So no, it was good.
The Melka's 200th NHL game. What has he meant to this team?
Yeah, he's great. Having a guy like him back there is real confidence for us. He makes a lot of big saves in big-time moments. So, just keeping us in there and keeping us in the fight and giving us a chance.
How important is it to win these tight one-goal games?
It's huge. I think, you look back at last year and we had a ton of overtime games that went the wrong way for us. And when you're sitting there at the end of the year and, you're in a playoff race, those are the ones you kind of look back at. And if you can, just find a way to get those. So, huge win for us, yeah.
It's a pretty physical, gritty type of game. Do you feel like your game fits this type of game well?
Yeah. For sure. I think being physical and working down low, getting in the net is a huge part of my game. So I like playing in those games. I like being gritty. So I like all that. Yeah.
A lot of stick penalties tonight. How can you guys kind of clean those up a little bit?
Yeah, it's something we talked about in camp again, is staying out of the box and trying to give them less chances. And you guys are really good in this league. You'll find ways to break down your penalty kill. So you gotta really try your best to stay out of there. But just be more disciplined.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Josh.
So that's what we got for you, DJ and PK. For more on the Mammoth, make sure to join me and Mike Folta for the Mammoth Daily Podcast. 30 minutes every day, wherever you get your podcast, Monday through Friday. Apple, Spotify, YouTube will get you ready for tonight in Chicago. And tomorrow's our Tuesday mailbag. So for more Mammoth, join me and Mike on Mammoth Daily.
There is the best of the postgame show as the Mammoth pick up the win. A reminder to join JJ and Alex Wednesday from 3 to 6 at RGS Exteriors, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. When we come back, we're going to hear from Bronco Mendenhall. Later this hour, we're going to hear from Kyle Whittingham, Kalani, Sitake. A lot of college football ahead. Stay with us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, let's get to the college football. It was a pretty good weekend with the Utes winning, the Cougars winning. The Aggies did not win. They went out and lost to what looks like a pretty good Hawaii team. They're 5-2, and they picked up the win in a wild game. This game was very even. Utah State got the ball first to start the second half. They scored. They went up 26-24. Didn't get the conversion that would have made it 27. But you think, okay, well, back and forth we go, right? No, Utah State gets outscored 20-0 the rest of the game, and 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Did they get tired? Did they run out of gas? Was it just a matter of Hawaii wearing them down and taking over in the second half? Just so many snaps and the run and shoot and guys running all over the place. Here's Bronco Mendenhall's post-game thoughts after a 44-26 loss at Hawaii.
Coach, you mentioned all the time there are individual plays that can really impact the outcome of the game, and it seemed like there were two instances tonight where you were very close to at least expanding your lead, up 17-10 and then up 26-24, and just couldn't push that lead out. Kind of lead us into what you feel like was holding your team back to really putting an emphasis on this game and putting it away.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on. There are small margins in conference play, especially on the road. And we had our chances, yet I didn't prepare the team well enough to execute in the critical moments. And Hawaii just made more of the critical plays at the critical times, really the majority of the night, but especially down the stretch. And so as we were working to expand the lead or working to get a first down or to make a stop or etc., Hawaii made more of those plays than we did, and margins are thin. And that's exactly where it was. In addition to that, the number of miscues or penalties or kind of self-inflicted things, in addition, especially offensive front-wise, with the holdings when Bryson was scrambling, the number of times that happened with the pressure and the aggressive nature of Hawaii's defense, you need to give them credit. They played a very good game, and I think they're a good team.
Yeah, I think Coach Chang has really helped turn their momentum here, and the receivers are awfully good on the outside. So you went to the middle pressures quite a bit and throughout the game, and the little stunts and stints, and then you brought Noah Avenger out to the corner in the second half. I'm sure that was one of the adjustments that you made to bring in Ike and Brevin to the safeties and have Noah move out to corner. What was your thought as you took a look at what that lineup looked like for you there in the second half?
It was just as you mentioned. There's no reason to have Noah Avenger now that Ike's back, or Brevin, any of them standing and watching. We want our best 5 players out there. And in the first half, the 2 touchdown scores, or 2 of the touchdown scores, were a result of balls going over our head or long passes. And we thought the other matchup would be better. And I think it proved to be that. We hadn't practiced that with Noah. Noah hasn't practiced the corner for a while, but he's a really good player. And so we thought that would give us our best chance with some of the matchups that we had.
At the end of the first half, you go the final 2 series with Bryson Barnes on the sideline. Was that just precautionary, or what happened there?
No, he got banged up a little bit. I don't know the exact nature of the injury, but it wasn't. He just couldn't go on those 2 series, and was recovering and trying to have the trainers work on him and get him right, but he wasn't able to go.
And I thought, as you go take that 20-17 lead behind Jacob with minute 5 to go there in the first half, I thought that was a key time in this ball game where they came right back down the field and in 40 seconds were able to retake the lead.
No question. They executed their 2-minute drill better than we executed our 2-minute defense, and that really is just kind of where we are. The situations right now that are coming up, we're executing well for part of it, but not consistently enough from beginning to end to finish either the series or make the stop in relation to context. And that was that one right before halftime was one that certainly hurt.
So it is what it is. There's no free agency or trades in college football. Your offensive line has been really hit hard with injuries. I know guys are playing through injuries. You guys are out with injuries. What can be done to shore up that offensive line?
Not much. So just the work and the practice, which is a lot. So my answer really didn't reflect being able to. I was talking maybe about attracting other players or getting others healthy or whatever. This is just a matter of now work and execution and the schematics to try to give them our best chance. We thought Hawaii was aggressive up front. We knew they would do a nice job of pressure, as they had really throughout the course of the year. But they certainly affected our offense. They kept us out of rhythm, either between sacks or penalties. And then at the very end, as we're trying to just battle through and see if we can come out with a victory, then a few costly turnovers at the end, it didn't allow us to do that.
I know we took a look at those really good wide receivers at Texas A&M, but I have to believe that this group of wide receivers may be the best in the conference. They have the ability to catch everything, even when there is tight coverage.
They throw and catch the ball really well. They throw and catch it. And as our coverage got tighter, they can continue to make plays. And again, that really, if you want to win the conference, if you want to be consistent as a winning football program, whether you're home or away, you have to make the critical plays, and you have to do it consistently. And Hawaii did tonight, to their credit. We did not.
So now you got a quick turn. Had a long flight back home and a game on Friday instead of Saturday. What's the message to the gang as you got into the locker room to get them sort of mind right to get back home and get ready for next week?
No, it's just matter of fact. No one's coming to save us. Our work ethic, our planning, our coaching, and our playing is the way you battle out of this. And so we play Friday night. We'll get on the flight, fly all night, and we'll get back to work. That's what grown-ups do. That's what people that become contributors in society and lead families and et cetera. That's what you do. You just keep going, and I think they will. And I believe that we'll keep chipping away at this, and we'll do it as fast as possible. But yet, that's where the margins are, and they played out in front of everyone to see.
All right, there is Bronco Mendenhall, and we are going to hear more from him. He's going to join us live this morning coming up at 8:30. DJ and PK, reminder, Ethan Millard with Teton Wealth will be live in studio with Hans and Scotty G today to help you with your retirement plan. Tune in or visit retireteton.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from the Utes and the Cougars, Kyle Whittingham, Kalani Sitake coming up. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, win tickets to see Eric Church and Free the Machine Tour, October 23rd at the Delta Center. Find your tickets on SeatGeek or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. All right, the Utes and Cougars pick up big victories. Kyle Whittingham's team dominating on the ground, just running the ball at will. They scored touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 possessions. They only had the ball 4 times in the first half. They got 3 touchdowns. They did have to punt on the second possession late in the first quarter. Second half, they get the ball, touchdown, and then they get the ball and run out the clock to win the game. 42-10, dominating performance. Here's Kyle Whittingham with the media after the game.
Okay, they're actually really cool. They're really good. Who was the guy that pointed out that we hadn't won a Big 12 game at home? Thank you for doing that. Done. We're done with that. Got that done. So appreciate your input on that. Complete game by our guys. Really proud of our guys. Devin Dampierre especially. We didn't throw the ball a ton tonight, but it was very efficient when we did throw it. And he ran. He's back to health. He was been hobbled a little bit the last few weeks, but he's back to 100%, and that was more of what you saw tonight is more of what he's capable of. Offensive line outstanding. Rushed for almost 300 yards, and the offensive line is a big reason for that. Obviously, it was good to see Daniel Bray continue to add to what we're doing on offense. He gives us that speed on the edge that really had been lacking, and so it's good to have Daniel fill a role for us in that regard. Defense played outstanding, start to finish. Thought the secondary played real well. We were in great position on those balls up the field all night long. I'm very proud of the way Smith Snowden played, and Blake Cotton and Scooby. I mean, those guys really, I think it was their best game of the year. So good to see that happen. Special teams, Monica Carvalho. He's a guy that's got some dynamic ability as a punt returner. You saw a little bit of that in that one return he had tonight. But overall, solid game from start to finish. We started fast and never let up. There was no lulls in the game. I think we only punted one time. This game, so we're not punting very much, and that's a good thing and a good sign. Didn't turn the ball over, and got a field goal block. It was a really nice scheme that Coach Scally put together, and saw a weakness in their protection and exploited it. And darn near had a scoop and score for a touchdown out of it, but does something go dead? Anyway, so questions.
How important was it for you to keep Tyson under wraps? I mean, he got 8 receptions, but for 40 yards.
Yeah, it really important. That was obviously a focal point, and Smith Snowden did an outstanding job on him. He shadowed him a lot of the night, not completely, but a lot of the time. And to hold a talent like that to just 40 yards is a credit again to the secondary and the way they played tonight. He's a heck of a player.
How did the lightning delay in warm-ups kind of affect the team, and how did you keep them locked in during that?
I thought they handled it real well. What we did is we took a little different approach. We waited until about 25 minutes before kickoff to go out, and then just stayed out. Our usual routine is to go out at about 65 minutes before, and then do some things and come back in and go back out. But thought we had a good plan to not come back in once we went out and go out later, so they were not as exposed to the weather for as long, and thought that worked out. So no problem there.
Kyle, given the environment and the storm and conditions that everybody was dealing with, what did you make of the atmosphere here at Rice Eccles?
Pretty darn good, and we appreciate the fans that toughed it out and stayed. You did a great job, and the fans that left, we wish you would have stayed. You missed a great game, but I'm sure we would have had a much larger number of folks there had we not had the weather issue, but we love our fans. There's a great home field advantage here. And even though it wasn't maxed out tonight, the fans that were there were really loud and did a great job in the muss as well.
Kyle, for Devin to only throw 12 passes during the game, how much confidence does that show in your running game and that offensive line to just run it down their throats?
Well, a lot. And we only snapped the ball 50-something times. I think it was 55 snaps. And so we didn't have a lot of snaps overall either. And, the run game really was in high gear from the get. And so we just stayed with it. And like I said, Devin was really efficient when he did throw the ball. And, RD gave us some big plays again, like he has pretty much every game this year. But the run game was really what won this football game for us.
Kyle, as you mentioned, Devin was not hobbled in this game. Just how much does it open up the offense to kind of get him out in space and not have, a nagging injury?
It opens it up a bunch, and you saw some of the moves he made tonight. He just wasn't capable of making those moves the last few weeks, but now, with the bye week really helped him out, and we're elated that he's back to 100%.
Can you give us some insight into how the rotation, the defensive backfield played out? Obviously, Jackson Benny played a little bit of safety. Teo Johnson
played a lot
as well.
of safety. Yeah, that's where he was exclusively tonight.
With Nate Ritchie out, with Tillman playing a little bit, just give us an idea of what the rotation might look like going forward. With those guys.
Well, you're going to see Jackson continue to play safety with Teo. So those will be the two primary safeties, and you're going to see Smith, Snowden, and Scooby on the outside in 43. And then when we go to nickels, Smith slides into the slot corner, and Blake Cotton comes in. So that has been the rotation, most recently and tonight especially. And, like I said, I thought those guys played well. But Benny really, he's more natural and more at home as a safety.
Kyle, after the Texas Tech loss, Devin said that the team was going to use it as fuel to help them. How have you seen this team actually embrace that and not just use it as kind of a platitude to kind of move forward?
Well, they've been a determined bunch ever since that loss. Not that they were not practicing well prior to that, but that was a very disappointing game to them. And you can tell they were hurt and ticked off, and I think they've responded, as well as we possibly could have hoped for.
Kyle, you talked this summer about this offensive line being the best one that you've had. Mm-hmm. Is tonight the way you expect them to play? Is that what you were talking about this 100%, summer?
100%, exactly. Yep, exactly. Controlling the line of scrimmage, open up holes for the run game. They pass protect exceptionally well, and very proud of them, like I said. You're kind of quiet, Mr. Sun Devil, back there. Cat got your tongue?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. All right. We good? No?
Sorry. Kyle, sorry, dude. Yeah, Kyle Whittingham.
Yes, sir.
What was I going to ask? Now I'm just
Rockwell. They're Rockwell glasses, and they're really good. They're high quality. I got to give Rich a plug. He gave them to me free. So yeah.
Kyle, with the news, Sam Levitt was doubtful and then out yesterday. Yep. Did that change any of your preparation for the Sun Devils?
No, it was really too late to make any wholesale changes. Nor would we have, had it even happened earlier in the week. Sam is a really good runner. That's how he's made the majority of his big plays this year is with his legs. And the kid we saw tonight, Sims kid, he's a runner as well. He's a good runner, and so even if we would have known a couple days before, we wouldn't really have tweaked much at all. So it was pretty well intact.
Coach Bird Ficklin remains on 100% in completion percentages here. Can you just speak to his progression across the season and year?
Yeah, we think Bird's got a bright future here. He is a guy. I think I said last. After the West Virginia game, he's very poised. He's very in control, very confident, and nothing phases him. Nothing bothers that kid. He's just so in charge and has so much confidence in what he's doing.
Kyle, after the Texas Tech game, you said that there were issues just with finishing games. Obviously, now it seems like the offense is just so much more well-rounded than what it was that game. Has there been anything that you've noticed, I guess, systematically or philosophically that's changed from that game in the past two?
Not really. Not really. You know, you never want to make excuses, but I'm telling you right now that Devin, a lot of players would not have played in that game if they were, you know, he's a tough kid, and he mustered through it. And, you know, if you look at the biggest factor, that was probably the biggest factor. But again, it's our job to put the guy out there that gives us the best chance to win, and we thought it was Devin that particular night. So.
Yeah, Kyle, as Daniel Bray gets more reps and gets more comfortable, could you see his role expanding here as October and November move?
I think that would be a positive for us if it does expand. If he can, you know, he made some really good runs tonight, and he's a really explosive, fast kid. He run, I think it was a 10 300-meter guy in high school, and so yeah, if we can continue to implement him and integrate him into what we're doing, that just gives us another dimension. You know, we don't have many guys that can accelerate and hit the gas pedal like he can.
Kyle, I guess now we can talk about it. Initial thoughts on the rivalry game next week. Both of you should be top 25 teams, I think.
Yeah, they were Arizona today.
They won double overtime.
Oh, double. Okay, so should be a great matchup. I mean, a one-loss team and an undefeated team, and like you said, I would assume we'll be ranked. We don't pay a whole lot of attention to that right now, but that most likely will be the case. So I would say it's shaping up to be the biggest event in the state of Utah, sporting event like it is most years. So.
Kyle, you guys are 28 of 29 in the red zone so far this season. You know, what has Jason Beck brought to, you know, maybe the play calling that has diversified, you know, what you guys are capable of doing in the red zone?
Yeah, well, I can tell you a big part of red zone success at the college level is the QB run game. And Devin being able to do the things he does, and the offensive line, you know, they go hand in hand. But that's probably been the biggest key to our red zone success is Devin Dampier's his ability to, hit those. He's very instinctive. I've said it before. He could be a running back if he wasn't a quarterback, and that gives us that extra dimension. You get the +1 run game with the quarterback, and they don't have a guy to account for him most of the time.
Back here. Will you take any significant satisfaction knowing that's the last time you'll beat the Sun Devils?
Check with me later on that, PK. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You know something I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Pass.
There's Kyle Whittingham after the Utes get the win over Arizona State. Now, BYU wins at Arizona. This was also a crazy game. Bachmeier with a memorable touchdown, hurdling a guy, maybe not as easily and gracefully as Taysom Hill against Texas, but nonetheless, memorable play, huge touchdown. BYU ends up scoring the last 10 points of the game and then winning in double overtime. Here's Bachmeier after the game.
How would you describe the range of emotions in this game, a marathon, and you guys come out on top?
Yeah, there was a marathon for sure, and a lot of highs and lows, but kind of got to stay level-headed, and we had adversity, and that's when you kind of lean on your brothers, and I felt like we bounced back pretty well.
You say, holy cow, was that over LJ's career night?
Oh, yeah. LJ had a freaking bowler night. I mean, he's a dog, so, yeah.
Are you getting used to carrying the ball 22 times, though, you personally?
Getting used to it? I guess so, yeah, but I know that's not the ideal number, so we'll probably possibly trim it down here coming up.
Just take us through your overtime touchdown run. What did you see? Just take us through that one.
Yeah, you got kind of three options on that deal, and saw a crease and just went with it, saw the goal line.
On the touchdown run at the end of regulation with 19 seconds to go, were you telling A-Rod you wanted to go for two? What was kind of communication like there?
Yeah, before we scored, Coach Mitchell was, be prepared to go for two, and so when we scored, I didn't really get excited a lot because I was, I thought we were gonna go for two and go win the game. Luckily we didn't, and we went into overtime and won the game.
How much do you relish those moments though to get your number called for those opportunities to go take it into the end zone and go get a score?
Yeah, you remember it a lot, and it's it's great memory, but you kind of just got to keep moving forward and keep this thing rolling.
You had some mishaps, but prove resilient once again. What helps you end your games like that and prove resilient like you?
Yeah, you try and mitigate those, but once it happens, it happens. And just the ability, you just got to flip the page and know that your guys have your back.
When did the execution change out of the weather delay? You guys started so strong.
Yeah, we I guess we had adversity and kind of hit kind of a wall, and things weren't really going our way. But we knew we had each other's back, and knew we would bounce back.
The offensive line was really producing a lot of holes. Can you maybe speak about the job they did out there?
Yeah, outstanding job by the boys up front. You don't, like I say it a lot, but you don't win games without the production of the guys up front, and so we'll probably get them some Rice Krispies or something like that. So, yeah.
Arizona had one of the best defenses coming into this game. Just maybe speak to the challenge of going up against that secondary and what the challenge they pose in this game.
Yeah, great scheme. Just the Rocky Long Branch. My older brother played against that scheme, and so it's a tough kind of deal to go against. And we knew we had to bring our A game, and we just had to walk out with a win.
What was kind of being said in the huddle there in those overtime periods? What were you kind of telling the guys to keep them calm and relaxed?
I said, let's go win the game. And, we stalled in the first overtime, which a lot of that was my fault. But kind of bounced back in that second one.
What changed with this team's mentality, particularly on offense in that fourth quarter? I mean, you guys are down 10, but it seemed like you guys kind of flipped a switch a little bit.
Yeah, I think we just executed and we mitigated the mistakes. I mean, had a couple false starts in the third quarter, and nothing was really going our way. But we just kind of had each other's backs, and credit to the boys up front again for just being really physical and guys on the perimeter making plays, and then LJ being LJ. So.
Last question. BYU started 6-0 in consecutive seasons for the first time in program history. What does it mean to you personally to lead the offense, to be part of that historical start?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, the pedigree of BYU is just winning games, and just to keep that going means a lot, and especially with the guys you love.
There's BYU quarterback Bear Bachmeier now. Here's the head coach, Kalani Sitake.
What a great win for the team, and what a cool environment having all our fans that were here after all the delays and all that stuff. I appreciate. Just want to tell the fans thank you for sticking it out and being here with us and making noise and making us feel at home. And it's a tough game. Obviously, we got behind a little bit, but the guys kept believing and didn't give up. And I liked the outcome, obviously, but I felt like it was a good moment for us. We just welcome the adversity right now. We just gotta stay positive and keep working through this. But like the positivity, you got to enjoy this, man. It's a lot of fun. You got our 6th win. We're bowl eligible, so a lot of things to keep building off of. But we'll worry about that on Monday. I think we owe it to ourselves. I owe it to this program and this team to focus on relishing the victories and appreciating the opportunity that you have to represent and then your family and your loved ones in this game. And I give a lot of credit to Arizona. I told Coach Brennan had his team ready, and it was one of those where we made one more play than they did, and just really fortunate and thankful that we got the win. But love the way the guys stuck together and kept believing in each other and kept believing in the process, and knew that eventually we'd have our time and our moments to make it work. And thought about going for 2 at the end of the game, but everybody talked me out of it, so I'm glad they did, and here we are. So I felt like A-Rod, Jay, and K-Pop did a great job calling the game, and I thought the sideline had a lot of energy. So this is a lot of fun, and we'll just keep working and getting better. But right now, part of the process is enjoying tonight, enjoying the trip back home to Provo. What questions do you guys have for me?
You had a lot of adversity in this game, a lot of defensive guys getting hurt. What does it say about the character of this team that you guys were able to withstand that?
Yeah, I'm just proud of all the guys, and even when mistakes happened, things looked like it was bleak. The guys kept playing and there's time on the clock, and so we're not going to give up, and they didn't give up, and it's easy to coach guys that have have that belief in it and that faith, and then the leadership that we saw from the team from the sideline, it was awesome. So obviously there's a lot of things to correct and get better. That's every week, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about the praise them for the things that we did well, and that was the energy, the effort that we saw from the team, and the belief in not giving up at the end.
Bear grew up a little bit more tonight.
Yeah.
How would you assess how he handled it?
Yeah. Is there any way you can grow up without throwing interceptions? That would be really nice too. But it's part of the game. I get it. I think maybe you give Arizona credit for the disruption and what they did with their disguises. I thought Danny Gonzalez did a great job of getting his defense ready and kind of confused us a little bit. But I thought Bear was really good with where he wanted to go with the ball when it was there and wasn't trying to force it. And when he did, they made good plays on it. So keep working with him. But it's just we're mid-season now, so the true freshman is now just freshman, and he's got 6 games. So this is a lot of things that we can learn from.
What do you attribute the sideline maintaining that energy that you noted after getting down 24-14?
Yeah, you know, honestly, last week when we won the game, it was kind of a weird feeling in the West Virginia game, and then K-Pop actually made a good point, and when I allow K-Pop and Jay and A-Rod to speak to the team, and K-Pop asked, he actually showed some clips of the West Virginia game where we made plays, Parker on the screen going all the way down for a touchdown, and the sideline just a little bit dead. It's like not even celebrating the energy. And on Chase's big catch, the 80-yarder, not a lot of it was dead. So he pointed that out, and it was actually eye-opening and embarrassing for me to watch because I was one of those. I don't know if we just want to be spectators, but we got to get involved in the game, and that means create energy. And I thought I appreciate K-Pop being able to see that and talk about it and show it visually to our players, and then our guys just fed off. I think even when we were in here on the delay, the guys were upbeat and happy. I just try to get them calmed down because they're having so much fun. It's just like we just talked about enjoying every part of not worry about the end result, just enjoy the time that we have to play in this game. Let's make the most out of the 60 minutes, I think was kind of what we were talking about, and we end up earning more time. We played double overtime. Obviously, I'd like to take care of the game earlier than that, but it was really fun. I just felt like it was kind of needed this win. We needed this type of game. It was a lot of fun, though.
LJ Martin had a career high 25 carries tonight for a career high 162 yards on the ground. What does it say about LJ's growth and lean on him to carry the ball that many times in the game?
Yeah, I mean, he's durable and he's tough, and so we know we can do that. And I think when we get into where we need him to show up and run the ball, he's going to do it for us. And I just like that the playbook was open for A-Rod to call whatever he wanted, and I'm glad the defense got the ball back for us early so he can actually go to the run game with Bear and LJ, even with the 2 minutes left. I just didn't see any panic, and I like the composure that A-Rod had and the offensive staff had during that whole. We practice it all the time, so it was kind of. I know people are getting a little nervous, but I mean we scored with what 19, 20 seconds left. And so we had some seconds to spare, but I just like that we knew exactly what we wanted to accomplish and how we wanted to get it done. And LJ was a big part of that, sorry.
You guys had a 14-0 lead going into the weather delay, come out, fake punt. How much do you think that changed the game, that decision, the fake punt, to kind of swing some momentum to Arizona?
How short were we? 2 yards of it?
3, I think.
3 yards? 3 yards, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have let us do it. Maybe I should have called that. Maybe good for 7, but I don't know if it was our Aussie punter can. If we can rely on him as much as we can with Chase Roberts and LJ Martin to make plays. But he was really hard on himself, for not getting the first down. I had to watch it on film, but yeah, maybe a little too aggressive for me, but that's kind of my nature, you know what I mean? So I'm going to, when we see it, and I trust K-Pop, and when we see things, don't practice it if you're not going to run it in the game. So when we practice it, we expect to do it. And I thought the guys executed well. I think Arizona just made the play.
Time for a couple more questions.
The guys talked you out of going for 2. What was their argument? How did they proceed?
I think the defense just wanted to play ball. Like they felt like they were going to be able to get to and disrupt Noah's timing and stuff to run. And then that didn't look great in the first overtime because they were marching down. But you have to trust your guys, man. And I just wanted to end it in one play and just be like, let's just end it and go home. And but. I'm always open to reason and open to argument. So this is not just all my decision. I'm going to check with our players, see what they want to do, and check with our coaches. And so that's what we decided to do. And if it works, I'll be happy. If it doesn't work, I'll blame somebody else.
How nice of a luxury is it to have a quarterback like Barry you can lean on the ground when the game's on the line to go get a touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, we know he's tough and he can run.
I don't know how many runs he had. Yes, that's kind of a lot, but he can handle it, and LJ can handle his 25 runs too. So we'll be good there. I was really proud of Preston stepping in and making plays, and I mean he had that one screen that went for a while, and so we feel like we have great talent. But when it came down to time to make a play, we needed LJ and we needed Baird, and sometimes you're going to have to ask Baird to run the ball, and he's okay with it.
On the scoring drive, you guys got a Will Ferrin field goal, the fourth. Tempo was kind of slow.
Yeah.
Was that by design?
No, we wanted to be efficient with our plays, and it was getting kind of loud. We just wanted to make sure we communicated. We also didn't want to show panic. I mean, there's plenty of time left. We felt like the defense could get a stop for us and get the ball back for us, and so, I mean, the one thing you don't want to do is panic and then show that you need to just go as fast as you can. We felt good with the timing, and A-Rod felt good about it. I trust him and trust our offensive coaches, and it worked out in our favor.
Arizona has a good defense, but Trey, Maury, Evan, they all look like they stepped up tonight.
Yeah, those guys played great, and Tavion did great too. I mean, this is a talented offense that Arizona has, and hard to play in man coverage, and our guys are down for it, so I'm really proud of the way they made plays, and those guys just kept playing, and there was a lot of deep routes and things like that, and those guys, General Guilford and Jay Hill did an amazing job with their coaches to get these guys ready for this past game.
One more question, last question.
What momentum does this give you guys going into a rivalry game next week against Utah with so much on the line?
Yeah, we're going to have fun with this and hopefully keep the momentum rolling until next week, but it's going to be back to hard work on Monday and focus on our opponent, and we'll do that on when that happens. Right now, I want our guys to enjoy it and just kind of relish in the victory. I think it'd be foolish of us to just like all of a sudden just turn around and just say, hey, let's get focused on the next one, even if it's a rival game. I think we go through the process, we do things in order. I think we'll feel good about the way we show up when it happens next weekend.
There's BYU football coach Kalani Sitake. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Bo doesn't have to take the snap here. Let's see, he does. Pumps it, throws the ball wide open, inside the 5. Touchdown, Denver. That is Nate Atkins.
Jones, quick pitches to the left side to Jonathan Taylor. Cuts up, he's in! Touchdown! Touchdown! I-N-D-Y for Jonathan Taylor.
Second down, Stafford to the air, drives one, end zone jump ball, nearly intercepted. Puka Nacua went up as if for a rebound, and he's hurt in the end zone. Rodgers gets the snap, back to pass, looking, pump fakes to the right now, wants to go to Metcalf, has him in the end zone, touchdown to Kalen Metcalf. Pittsburgh Steelers score to go up 22-6 pending the extra point.
An altercation. A Lion went after a Chiefs player. He went after Juju Smith-Schuster. A Lions player, Brian Branch, took a shot. Juju Smith-Schuster took a shot to his head from Brian Branch, who took a punch at the head of Juju Smith-Schuster. The Chiefs have won the game 30-17.
Dislocated. I think it broke too. So I'm going to end up having surgery. Obviously a huge blow. Feel bad for Fred right now. He was in good spirits though. He's got a good foundation, and but got a lot of faith in Tatum, and he's the next man up, and he's going to have to do it throughout the year.
A 4-1 team squaring off. The Bucs 5-1. Could they be the best team in the NFC, PK?
Oh, yeah. And I think got to eliminate the Niners now with all their injuries.
They keep piling up, one after another after another.
Hence piling up.
There it is. Well, they advance. The Bucs advance to 5-1. No one moves to 5-1 with them. They stand alone with the best record in the NFC here, about a third of the way through the season. Packers, they picked up a win. So you got the Eagles, who've had their drama, but they're sitting there at 4-2. So plenty of good teams, but the Bucs, at least for now, top dog. Impressed by the Rams and Ravens in a defensive struggle, and then the Rams just all of a sudden snap out of it, get 2 quick TDs, and end up making it stand up and win the game.
No, I expect them to win.
Puka Nacua hurt his ankle in that game. Status to be determined. We'll see if we hear something later today.
There's no such thing as style points in the NFL. You don't need them.
You win or you lose, and the record will get it done, and there's no committee at the end.
And then what if you win multiple postseason games by 1 point? Who cares?
The Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks all 4-2. Seattle beat the Jaguars 20-12. Nice road win for them. The Jets get beat 13-11, and the Jets had minus 10 yards passing. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
No.
A lot of sack yardage there, wrecking the 45 yards they did throw for. 9 sacks for 55 yards, so they end up at minus 10. Worst number in the NFL since 1998. Chargers had minus 19 against the Chiefs.
Huh.
There you go. Chargers won in Miami. Wild game there. Dolphins with a late rally to take a 27-26 lead in the final minute, and Chargers went right down the field, made a big play, kicked the field goal, won the game. Got out of the W.
Simple as that.
Exactly. Chargers and Broncos 4-2. They lead the West. Chiefs 3-3 after beating the Lions, and you heard Brian Branch sparking a brief post-game brawl. Why hit a guy in the helmet with your hand? That doesn't make any sense.
Did his hand break?
Got away with that one, apparently. But it could have. Break a finger, break a wrist,
Football,
break a hand. Yeah.
Why hit somebody? Have to.
Colts are 5-1. They can't seem to do anything wrong right now. Piling up the wins. 2 games tonight. Bills and Atlanta. If the Bills win, they get to 5-1. And Chicago and Washington. Bills and Atlanta on ESPN. Chicago and Washington over on ABC. DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
Tight end to either side of the formation. Martin in the backfield. Bachmeier on the move. Turns it up, and he scores!
I want you to see, this was a design run. It was a fake throw and then go.
Ryan, the tight end, on the slot left, and Martin out wide. Another design run, and Bachmeier with a lunge. Does it again. He won't be denied. It's first down, touchdown, or shut down for Arizona. Fafita steps up in the pocket, launches, and the game is over. BYU stays perfect.
Cougars are undefeated after a double overtime win. They were dominating and it looked easy early, up 14-0, scoring on big plays. Arizona took over and BYU rallied in the last couple of minutes there. Good fourth quarter finish for them, and then they win it in double overtime. Impressed with the way they ran the ball. LJ Martin, Bear, a.k.a. Grizzly Bear, Bachmeier, piling up the yards. 258 yards rushing for the ball club.
That's Rockmeier, man. He's rocking in Rocktober. And I'm telling you right now, the Velvet Stadium is going to be rocking. So Cougars and Utes will both become a knocking. I think that Bachmeier, as long as he's running between the tackles, don't get him outside much. I don't think he has that kind of speed. But he's got that type of toughness and ability to gain some yardage. I don't think he'll Mike Vick you and run 50, 60, 70 yards, zigzagging all over the field. But I do think that he can get those tough yards up the middle. And no, it was clear to me right off the bat that they needed to go with LJ Martin as much as possible. I tweeted out, run him to make sure he's exhausted at the end of the game because it didn't look like he was going to be stopped, and he wasn't.
6.5 yards a carry, 162 yards in the game. He had it going. And they hit on the big touchdown pass early, but didn't throw the ball that well after that. 172 yards passing. They got 75 on that early touchdown to Parker Kingston.
Yeah, I just don't think that's who this offense is right now. So that's not any big deal to me right now as far as what they're able to do. With that defense, do you really need to be doing that? Just play your game and hit the occasional one. Get a kid like Kingston who's got elite speed out there doing what he does and go from there.
BYU up to number 15 in the national rankings. And big noon kickoff will be in Provo ahead of that Utah-BYU game this week. DJ and PK.
#Utah.
You got about as many big guys out there as you can. Dampier, a late pitch, wide open and a walk into the end zone for Nakari Rogers. Touchdown, Utah. They're not in the wrong on those kind of plays. Dampier keeps it, cuts back middle. Dampier, touchdown. They never got him to the ground. Man, has he been awesome tonight. His 3rd touchdown run. Arizona State just has not been able to tackle him.
Utah, 42-10 winners over Arizona State. That was Kyle Whittingham's dream game right there, wasn't it? The way they ran the ball, the way they played defense. That's his ideal recipe.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you, please don't ask about the offensive line anymore.
Okay, sure, maybe.
We're halfway through the season. We got it already.
That was an awesome performance by them.
Continue to believe that Merriweather is a good receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, they ran the ball great. I mean, that's who he is. And that's their recipe for winning. They're not going to beat you through the air. It's a similar situation, but I think BYU's is right now. As Bachmeier gets older, I think they'll be able to open it up more and get some more experience. Dampier, he already has that experience, but that's not who he is. He's a runner, obviously, so you've got to be able to run the ball. And he did. He's very elusive and was almost untackleable. And Kyle basically saying that he didn't do that against Texas Tech because he was hurt. So that leads you to believe that if he's not hurt, who can beat him? Can't have one without the other, right?
It does seem that way, and it was odd that he brought that up. That didn't really seem...
It was a response to a question.
Yeah.
But he extended it.
I thought he went there on his own. He didn't really have to bring up that
Most
game.
of the people who cover Utah these days are fans.
Yeah.
And so they're going to, like when you ask, what does it say? Those types. Usually whoever asks a what does it say question is a fan of that team. Because they never ask when you suck, what does it say?
It doesn't come up. It doesn't. Coach, you lost by 30. What does it say about your team? There's no what does it say after Texas Tech. You gave up touchdowns on the last 3 possessions. Well, what does it say about the defense, the way they let go of the rope? Nobody.
So, I thought about that a lot over the weekend. That's what he was responding to a question. But he did go beyond the question.
He did.
And
I thought it was him when he brought that up. I definitely noticed it, and I thought he wanted to say that. I mean, he definitely believes that. I mean, he could be right, he could be wrong, but he believes it.
Well, fine. I'm sure the Devils believe they would have been much better if Levitt was there.
I think they would have been much better. I thought what you said after the game was spot on, is that the offense could have been much better. The offense could have put more pressure on Utah's offense because maybe the game is closer and all of that. But the fact that Utah ran for all those yards didn't have anything to do with Levitt.
Just like
the ASU defense. Yeah.
I don't think a healthy Dampier would have beaten Texas Tech, and I don't think a healthy Sam Levitt would have beaten Utah. So
the line of scrimmage, like nobody else could run the ball against Texas Tech either.
But that's the games
right.
teams that don't win play.
Sure. And the way it's set up in college football, there could be a second game, so tell yourself that. And we do see in the NFL that the way the first game goes between 2 teams, we see the second game in these division rivals or matchup in the playoffs, and it doesn't always go the same way. So.
I would love to see either BYU or Utah get a shot at Texas Tech. Now, obviously, BYU will get that in the regular season, but I'm talking about
a second one.
The
assuming
final
Texas,
game.
Yeah, assuming Texas Tech is going to be there like we think they're going to be.
That's not an assumption. Have you looked at their schedule?
It's soft.
It is big time soft.
They better not mess this up.
They're a virtual lock, and I know Morton got hurt the other day, and they're saying, but I mean they go to Tempe this week, and they're a double-digit favorite. Yeah, I don't see them losing.
DJ and PK.
#Utah State.
Barnes stepping up, throwing to the outside. It's caught into the end zone. Touchdown, Utah State. Brock Lane, his second touchdown, reels it in on the near sideline, and the Aggies have taken the lead right back. In shotgun is Alejado all by himself. Now motions a man to the near side. Alejado looking right, now having to step up. He's got tons of room to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown. Not the intended way it was expected to go for Hawaii, but the field opened up and Alejandro said, all right, I'll do my best Bryson Barnes impersonation. And he walks into the end zone for the score. And here comes Hawaii with a chance to take an 8-point lead.
Utah State.
Hold on. Continue.
Hold on, continue. Red light, green light.
The Hawaii quarterback is doing the impersonation of the Utah State. Might be the other way around. You see the score?
Utah State beaten by Hawaii 44-26 in Honolulu. What Scotty said early on was true. It was back and forth. They were trading touchdowns. Aggies got the ball first in the first half. They were down 24-20. They went down and scored 26-24. Didn't get the conversion. And then Hawaii took over and scored the last 20 points. 17-0 in the fourth quarter, and they win going away 44-26. Aggies fall to 3-3 on the year. Hawaii's improved to 5-2. Now back home to face San Jose State. Bronco's going to join us coming up at 8:30. We'll talk with the Aggie head coach, Bronco Mendenhall. DJ PK.
Hashtag college football.
Simpson gets the ball, dumps it off, Hill, caught, touchdown Alabama. Daniel Hill, the sophomore from Meridian.
Fernando takes the snap, they pressure him, the throw to the end zone, touchdown! EJ! Wow, what a play, and it was actually Surratt who made the catch. But I'm telling you what now, that was some throw by Fernando Mendoza.
Saying under Carson Hinsman. Gets the snap, tosses in the right corner of the end zone. Jeremiah Smith got it for 6. Jeremiah Smith runs under the pass in the right corner of the end zone on a 2-yard scoring toss.
Stone gets the snap, hands to Kamalafe. Bursts away at the 5, he's in! Touchdown! Caleb Kamalafe kept his legs moving. They thought they had stopped him. He reaches the end zone, and the Wildcats go back in front with 4:51 to go.
Dickey gets the handoff in the backfield, delays, finds a hole, big one. 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Red Raiders. Cameron Dickey with his second long touchdown run.
Highlights from a full weekend of college football. Who stunned and amazed you, or is it everything happened on Saturday, overwhelmed on Sunday by a coach getting fired who was in the national semifinals last year and is owed $49 million?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously, was Indiana. I don't think anything else compares to that. They are for real. No more what-ifs. What about this? There's light schedule, this or that. No, they had a big game going into Oregon, and they won that thing. And now I don't think it means it's a devastation for Oregon. Ohio State went in there last year and lost, and it didn't matter. But it's more about Indiana as a legitimate team. I don't think that you can make excuses. They remind me of so many years I used to make excuses for Boise, and then I came to the realization, oh, they got a really good team. I'm done making excuses for them like I used to do with Gonzaga basketball. And that was years ago. That's well over a decade ago. I used to think, oh, that's just a West Coast team. West Coast Conference, but that's done. And so same thing for Indiana.
So do you make that new era, new money, things have changed?
As a great football coach is what I make it.
Indiana, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, all top 10, actually probably all top 5 teams now. And none of those are teams you would expect to be top 5. Maybe A&M, but they put together a lot of 8-4 seasons.
Well, why wouldn't I expect
it? They're all undefeated.
I know, but why wouldn't I expect it?
Because those aren't teams that are
Texas
usually
A&M?
top 5. Not top 5. They've had a lot of 8-4 seasons.
I don't care about that. You assign people who put a number next to it because they vote. How the hell do I know whether they're a top 5 team?
They're a combined 18-0.
They're a great team, yeah.
All three of them.
Texas Tech, no. I mean, they paid $80 million to send their coach away, so they obviously got money, and now the money's above board, so I don't care what they did 7-8 years ago under the guy who coached at Arizona now, whose name escapes me, who got fired, Kevin Sumlin. I mean, what difference does that make? It's about what they are now. Indiana's a great team. I don't know what their money is. And who was the other one that you're surprised by?
Indiana, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M.
Ole Miss is, Lane Kiffin, he's got it going on. And so SEC teams, no. And then I'm embarrassed for the state of college football that people care that much that you would pay a coach and then have to pay him $49 million to not coach in the world in which we live in,
seems irresponsible.
The sport should be embarrassed that people care that much. I'm of the Scotty Scheffler thing when he gave that speech.
Yeah. After he said, it's great, I won. And
then you go on.
A little while later, it's like, so what?
I know.
I know.
That's always the way I viewed sports, that it's nothing more than entertainment. And it's in the moment. And then certainly by the next day, the moment is over. And then you get back to things that really matter in life. And that's all. It's temporary happiness. It's not lifelong joy that really matters. And to go and fire him because he lost a couple of ball games and his record is outstanding, and okay, so be it. But then somebody's gonna pony up. Somebody cares enough to give him $49 million.
Unreal.
That's embarrassing.
I know.
What could you do with that kind of money? I'm embarrassed for people who think that matters enough, that this is something that we must do or we're not going to survive. Our very happiness is at stake. The foundation of our lives matters, that we must replace this man halfway through the season because he lost 2 games that we can't believe. Certainly you cannot say you're stunned that they lost to Oregon in overtime. Right?
That doesn't seem to be the one.
Yeah. And you have to go for 2 on the second series because we're worried about player safety. Meanwhile, we can play Saturday night the way we did. No, you're worried about TV windows. You're not worried about player safety. You're worried about the friggin' money. That's what you're worried about because TV pays you to put these. I don't ever want to hear anybody criticize any young player for getting paid when they put them out there in those types of conditions Saturday night and make them play football. And then we have to send this guy away because he lost to Northwestern and UCLA. And that's just intolerable. And we have to give him $49 million? Well, what the hell's the difference? We could have given $149 million. He must go. That's embarrassing.
13-3 with 2 playoff wins last year in the national semifinals. But now he's a bum. Oregon State fired Trent Bray in his second season. 0 for start in Corvallis. UAB fired Trent Dilfer. It's coach firing season now. We made it to October.
Yeah, well, now it's, they were fired in September.
They were.
I think it's acceptable. It used to be no way. Now it's,
Now it's okay.
every way.
We're getting a start on the coaching search, so we have a coach in place for the transfer portal.
And I get that. Oregon State, I mean, their whole program was just taken out from underneath them. We've talked about it many times. But I don't know, and I don't know anything about UAB, nor do I care. So that's it's the good thing about it is it's a complete acknowledgement that this is a professional sport because this is what the pros do, this is what we do, so we can stop the charade about academics.
Texas Tech quarterback Baron Morton left the blowout win over Kansas with leg injury, considered day-to-day. He also left the Arkansas Pine Bluff game with an injury. He left Utah with an injury, 3rd time this year. But they keep rolling. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazz beating in San Antonio, 134-130 Friday night. Bryce Sensabaugh had 26 points. Ace Bailey had 20. 0-2 in the preseason. They are home to face the Mavericks tonight at the Delta Center. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. David Locke, Ron Boone will have the call beginning at 7 right here on the KSL Sports Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Swung on, blasted, right field. This is gonna go. It is gone. Cal Raleigh, old Canada. A solo home run, and this game is tied. The 3-2. Swung on, roped into left field, base hit. Julio steams around third base. He's being waved. Julio scores, and the Mariners have the lead. Jorge Polanco has been huge all postseason long. He's given the Mariners the lead.
Mariners get the win, 3-1 over Toronto. They lead the ALCS after winning Game 1. Game 2 today is on Fox at 2 o'clock. Dodgers and Brewers start the National League Championship Series tonight, 6 o'clock on TBS. They'll be playing Game 1 after the Brewers knocked out the Cubs Saturday night. Anybody going to stop the Dodgers here? For everybody else, it would be like once in a generation or once in several generations. For the Dodgers, it'd be, here we are again.
Yeah, Milwaukee had the best record in the league.
Yeah, 97 wins.
So it's only right if you go by the regular season meaning something that these two teams are here.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
Real Salt Lake losing in Seattle to give up a goal in the opening minutes, fourth minute. Really weren't ready to play the first 15 to 20 minutes. They were really in trouble. Fortunate they didn't give up another goal. Cabral saved a penalty, and they end up, that's it. They play their way back into the game, but got to be ready from the start, and they weren't. So now it goes down to the last game of the year. 4 teams for 2 berths. They're in with a win. They're sitting in a spot now, so teams behind them lose. Then they'll be in no matter what. But all the games will be simultaneous. They're going to be in St. Louis Saturday night, trying to clinch that playoff berth. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
Xander Schauffele wins in Yokohama, Japan by 1 shot. Former BYU golfer Patrick Fishburne tied for 62 at 3 over. Xander Schauffele, 19 under. Small margins in golf. I suppose he had a disappointing year after having a really good year 2 years ago, but small margins, even near the win. 1 stroke.
Well, if you're that level of golfer, if you're not winning a major or multiple others, yeah, sure, it's a disappointing year. But
he's not that far from the mountaintop.
Right.
Yeah. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Keller up top, Dursey, wrist shot, blocked, rebound, score! Number 22 has tied the game at 2. Jack McBain buries one past Saros. McBain, with no real passing options, has to use some geometry to get this puck to Sergachev. Loose puck. Gunther is able to drag it in front. Gunther scores! Dylan Gunther says goodnight in Music City. A Broadway special. Gunther goes 5-hole on Saros, and the Mammoth win in overtime.
3-2 the final. The Mammoth down going to the third period. Get the goal to force the OT and then win it. Dylan Gunther having a good game. Logan Cooley, Jack McBain also scored. McBain scored the tying goal. One of those in front who wants it more. You're trying to deflect the puck and the thing just dropped and he beat everybody to it and scored. And Logan Cooley on a really good pass from Dylan Gunther on a 2-on-1. So there you go. Utah
I like
gets
the
one on
overtime
the
hockey with the reduced players.
Yeah, opens up the ice. Feels like something's always about to happen, whether it does or not. Feels like something's about to.
Yeah. And for this team, obviously, it's way early, but it's just acquiring as many points as you possibly can.
Yep. Good road win in Nashville. Can they get another one? They are in Chicago tonight to play the Blackhawks, who are bottom of the Western Conference. No expectations. Long rebuild there. Puck drop set for 6:30. 5:30 for hockey night in Utah. They'll be on the AM signal while the Jazz are on the FM 97.5. Hockey will be on 1280 The Zone. That's what's trending. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Shehan Jeyarajah joins us at 8 o'clock to talk Big 12 football and Utah BYU in the rivalry game. Bronco Mendenhall, Aggie football coach at 8:30. DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We have the question of the day. Hot takes or toast? Next.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's another edition of the Holy War as BYU returns home for another chapter in the BYU-Utah rivalry game at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with a special Holy War pregame show starting at 4. And when the clock hits 0, hear the postgame show immediately following the PK. Holy War coverage on The Zone is presented by UCCU. Love where you bet. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Never mind. It's my bad.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. Sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
Sometimes you just don't feel like you have a purpose anymore.
BYU defeats Arizona in overtime. Dramatic comeback on the road. Can you imagine the possibilities?
Oh, yeah, man. 12 and Zipola.
Yeah,
11
James.
and 1.
James says, yeah, that L is coming soon.
Jimmy.
Frank, all I can imagine is a win next week in any fashion. He doesn't care what
I can only imagine. There's a song by Winona Judd that says, I can only imagine, where she talks about dying and meeting Jesus. It's a great tune. I love Winona Judd's got an unbelievable voice. But yeah, is BYU going to have that moment that Winona sings about? It's there for them, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can make a strong case right now that the, what do they call, the floor would be 10 and 2. The ceiling obviously would be 12 and Zipola. You go 12 and 0, you're in. That's a fact. I mean, SMU proved that to an extent at 11 and 1. They didn't need to win the final game.
Even in the 4-team era, TCU went 12 and 0 and lost to K-State, and they didn't need to win to get in a 4-team playoff. 12 and 1 will get you in a 12-team for sure.
So you look at it, they got Texas Tech coming in, right? And then obviously Utah. And Cincinnati's coming in too, right? I mean, it's not going to be easy by any stretch, but we knew that. We talked about this whole time, that these next 5 games, and when A-Rod said 6, I was willing to go there with Arizona, and A-Rod turned out to be right. Obviously, you're going into the overtime periods. That's a hard-fought win that could go either way. That's clear. But they keep building the type of momentum that just infuses it in large dosages of confidence, not just little, large. You go on the road to Colorado, sold out place, blah, blah, blah. You get down early. You look like you're going to get run off the field. You come back and you win that ball game. Here, you get down crazy with the hour-plus delay and all that, but we knew that was coming. Heaven forbid they move the game up. No, we're player safety, yeah. Not above TV windows, though, guys. Make sure you understand that.
It's the priorities.
TV windows take precedent over everything. We can't move that thing up. No. So they come back and do all that stuff.
Could have flipped that with another game in another TV window.
No.
We have the technology.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Not gonna do that. So all those things down by, 10, and doing what they needed to do there. Very, very impressive. It's in a lot of ways for the growth of the young man, the grizzly bear, the Bachmeier is something that he needs as opposed to winning, say, like 24-7 or something. I'd rather have this.
He feels the pressure.
Yeah.
He gets the confidence. Plus, all the teammates get the confidence in him.
And that's
because
huge right there.
They see him.
This guy's a winner.
Right. They see him fail/struggle, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then they see him pull it together.
Right.
Which, in the post game that we played, maybe you stayed up till the middle of the night to hear it or listen to it online.
Listened to it yesterday.
Yeah. But we played it again this morning, and he was talking about the first overtime. Yeah, they didn't go right. That was mostly my fault. So everybody in the huddle knows the play and whatever they were supposed to do. They've practiced it, whatever poor decisions he made there. He didn't really spell it out for us. But whatever poor decisions he made, and then they saw him in the second one, just get to the end zone.
Yeah. And this is precisely exactly what they need. And it's really cool for them to be able to have this opportunity to have him develop. Kalani talking about, the season's half over, so let's stop with this first-year freshman stuff. He has 6 games of starting experience and played just about every snap, I think, save the first game and then maybe a little bit other there. But other than that, man, he's come through. The kid's a baller. It's why they were fired up. It's why they knew he was going to start from day one. Others told you differently, but that wasn't going to be the case. He was going to be the guy, and that's what happened, and he continues to be the guy, and they're ecstatic about him, and away you go. Now, they still have a very, very difficult schedule.
That's why I'm surprised you say 10-2 is the floor. You don't see a world where they could end up 9-3?
Well, sure.
Okay, well then 10-2 is not the floor.
But that's what I'm going at.
Okay.
I mean, it's unimaginable that they would go 9-3.
That's why I said you said 10-2 is the floor. You think 10-2 might be likely. I get
10
that.
10-2 is the floor. Yeah, I've been wrong 1,000 times. I very well could be wrong on this, but as I look at what they have, who they play, sure, that 9-3. But I'm saying 10-2. I mean, I want to be bold in my predictions. I don't want to be something that click. I'm going on to another station here. It's about entertainment. And
what?
So I see them, I'm going 10-2. No way I can pick them 12-0. I never pick anybody 12-0, in which at this point, no, you're not picking them 12-0. You're picking them 6-0, obviously, because they've already got 6 in the bank. But I just think something's going to go wrong. But maybe this is their magical year. Maybe this is their ASU from last year, where just about everything went right. And now things are going wrong for the Devils, and they're back to where they normally are. They're going into November fighting for bowl eligibility. Okay, if they finish 8-4, that's not so bad from where they were. But, I mean, that's where I look at the program. But I don't bleed that stuff the way some fans do, and thankful that they do bleed it because we've had this great job for many years. But as I look for BYU, this is what I think is possible for them to achieve. I mean, Cignetti is getting a ton of run, as he should. But I believe their records are the exact same, 17-2 in their last 19 games.
Boom, there.
But Kalani ain't getting no run the way Cignetti is.
Yeah. Playing the Big Ten. The spotlight's brighter.
BFD.
Yeah.
It's about
I get that we say that and sit here, but most of the people are there, and that's what most of the people talk about. So doesn't make it fair, but, as you've told us many times, life ain't fair. What's fair? So
he's 17-2 in his last 19 games. That's big time winning. And they're ranked higher. They're at home, and they're still an underdog to Utah. How about that, Cougars? You need some motivation. You got it in spades. Wow.
For you card players.
Nobody believes in you. The wise guys don't believe in you. You're an underdog in your own crib. Let that sink into your domes. Take that to the 100th. Come on,
Crib
man.
Dome 100. There's the Triple Crown.
Yeah. So think about that. This team still disrespected. I'm shocked, borderline appalled.
DJ and PK, the Utes picking up another W, ready for the rivalry game. Question of the day up there for the Utes. How high are their expectations? We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
The Holy War is here. Another chapter in this storied rivalry is about to be written. And only one station brings you complete coverage of the Utes and the Cougars in what could be the biggest matchup in Holy War history.
The Holy War is on.
Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all week long as we break down this game from every angle as the Utes head to Provo to battle the Cougars. Then on game day, catch a special edition of the Holy War pregame show live at UCCU in Provo starting at 4 with a postgame show immediately following the game. Holy War coverage on the Zone is presented by UCCU. Love where you bank on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The artist of the day, Sammy Hagar, turning 78. Brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com. The Utes dominate Arizona State in every aspect. How high are your expectations now? Sky high, PK?
I think as high as they can be.
11-1 high?
Yeah.
Not everybody's on board. Don, ASU had no run defense and a backup quarterback. What did you expect?
Yeah, but they had a run defense.
They'd had a good run defense against TCU. They were really good against the run. And they were really good against the run on the road at Mississippi State. Baylor ran the ball on them.
That's why I think college statistics like that they just don't do anything for me. If you want to go in the conference when it's done, that's something. But when you're mixing in out of conference and teams out of conference schedules are all over the place, it just really doesn't.
Yeah, but doesn't Mississippi State count? I mean, they look like a decent SEC team.
No idea.
It's not worried.
I couldn't name you their running backs. I couldn't name you anything about that team. It was one of those things where you dip in for a couple hours and then you're gone forever. So I'm not going to pretend that, I know all about Mississippi State. No, I don't know jack, nor do I want to know. I'm not paid to know about Mississippi State. So you can but me all you want, and I don't know.
I thought the fact they defended the run well in 2 of those 3 games indicated they'd probably be pretty good. Well, but they were terrible.
So then that's what I'm saying. And those stats, that's why I don't even look at them. They just clutter my mind. What do I need to look at them for? Plus, I got you to look at them.
You're welcome.
And if I thought it was something that I benefited from, I would say thank you. But I don't benefit from it, and that's an exact example why.
Tony says the excuse of Sam Levitt being out doesn't fit well when you allow 42 points to Utah's offense. Playing or not playing, that's a lot to give up to any team to still win.
I 100% agree, which is why I think the excuse of Devin Dampier not being 100% doesn't play well when you lose by 24 to Texas Tech. But yet they did that.
It was all there. I thought the fact that their offensive line couldn't get any push-up field at all was a major problem, regardless who had the ball. It's not like he didn't run the ball well, but the running backs did. Nobody ran the ball well.
But that's what your coach would lead you to believe, that, and you can go back and listen, that he basically was saying the reason why we didn't play well was because the kid was hurt. And most players wouldn't even have played.
Utes looked really good, Brooks says. By the way, Levitt never played defense. All I've heard the last 2 years by Zuby fans is that injuries aren't an excuse. I can't wait till next week's game.
Well, it's here now.
There it is.
You don't have to wait much longer.
It's now this week's game.
I don't get that, but I'm grateful that he has that type of passion. like his life is going to depend on it. And this is so foreign to me, but that's the way these folks are. And good for them.
How high are your expectations now? Very simple answer right here. Sky high, says Ben.
Tell me who beats them.
Sky high. BYU, Cincinnati.
That's it.
Yeah, it is.
That's all you got.
Yeah. It looks like 4-2, worst case scenario down the stretch for them.
If Dampier was the reason why they couldn't compete with Texas Tech, then all he has to do is stay healthy.
Stay healthy and go 6-0.
Now, he may not stay healthy. Hopefully he does. Never want to see anybody get injured. But if that's the way they made it sound. It's the way their coach made it sound, that they're virtually unstoppable if he's healthy.
David's not quite so fired up. They did what they had to and were supposed to do. On to the Holy War.
Yeah, but, the games that he was healthy in the last 2, I think they've won by a combined 66 points. So I don't think they were supposed to do that.
We didn't have a lot of people lining up telling us that was good. Well, we did before West Virginia. People did expect that to be an easy win. But they did not. I don't expect Arizona State to be an easy win.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
It almost couldn't have been easier.
Yeah, scored almost every time they had the ball. That one punt in the first quarter, and they ran out the clock in the fourth.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns and 8 drives.
What more do you want?
Fairly awesome right there.
Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK, we'll talk more about the rivalry game. Shehan Jeyarajah joins us next right here on The Zone. Joining hands is Scotty Wednesday for the Cougar Preview Show, brought to you by Beehive Meals. We're joined now by Shehan Jeyarajah, CBS Sports national college football writer and analyst. Shehan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's Utah BYU week, and we can't get into the game without analyzing what they just did. They both won. What'd you think about the way they won, and does it tell you anything about the rivalry game or throw the records out the window and all that stuff?
Well, I think throw the records out for sure. I think BYU looked like a team that was looking ahead just a little bit, whereas I think Utah, they know that they don't have any margin for error after that early season loss. But I think that coming out of week 6, both these teams are obviously rolling 5-1, 6-0. I think that this is potentially a Big 12 title game play-in game. Now, of course, Texas Tech is almost certainly going to be the other team in that game. They've already beaten Utah. They get BYU later this year as well. But I think that with the way that things line up, with the level that these two teams have played at relative to the rest of the conference, with certainly Sam Leavitt's injury at Arizona State, I think that these two teams have a really good case to be number 2 and 3 in the Big 12 in whatever order you want to put them. So this is a huge game. You can almost call this an early playoff game, I think, in Provo, and I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, so are we, obviously. I think you can throw in Cincinnati as the 3 teams fighting for one berth. I'm not sure that I see anybody else besides those 3 teams with the opportunity to join Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, I think that those are definitely the favorites to this point. I mean, this is the thing about the Big 12, right, is that every loss is so costly. And with Arizona State, I was very excited by them through the first couple of weeks, but this is how fast things can change, right? Your quarterback goes out, and I think that not having a tiebreaker against Utah is going to be a really difficult situation. And by the way, Arizona State now hosts Texas Tech. We'll see how they hang, but it's going to be really tough for them to get back in. TCU, this is a team that I had a lot of optimism about, but ultimately, they just haven't taken care of business. They lose to Kansas State last week. There are a lot of teams that are kind of right on that cusp. Iowa State, of course, being another after some of their struggles lately. But, I think that the teams that take care of business when they're supposed to are the ones that are going to have the best chance.
In the Utah-BYU game, we got 2 teams that are running the ball really well, but they don't throw it that well. Do you trust either one a little more to make big plays through the air, or are you thinking more special teams decides this? Or one team runs the ball and the other doesn't, just dominates the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think that I do give a clear edge to the way that Utah is running the ball right now. Now, I think that, when it comes to sort of pure running back run stuff, I think that BYU acquits itself really well. But I think that the quarterback run game and the offensive line as well, I think just gives Utah a little bit of that edge. But the thing that I'll kind of respond to that with is that I think that BYU's receivers are way better than what Utah is throwing out there right now. And by the way, while Bachmeier is hasn't been asked to do a lot as a passer, I think he's handled those moments really, really well to this point. I mean, obviously it helps when you have some of the playmakers that you have, but I do think that this stuff is real. And so I think that BYU is going to be able to put together a more diversified game plan than Utah. I think that Utah, while, again, I think it's going to be very effective, I think that it'll also almost by necessity become pretty, predictable, I guess you could say. And, I mean, again, so a lot of it's going to come down to, how does BYU deal with this Utah run game? Can they prevent explosive plays? Can they keep them under wraps for the most part? I'll tell you what, it's a huge deal that Isaiah Glasker wasn't ultimately ejected for targeting and have to miss the first half of this game, because I think he might be the most important player in the game for BYU. But I do think that offensively, BYU is just a little bit more diverse. And, I mean, here's the reality as well, is that they're 6-0, and they really haven't had to open up the playbook to this point, except for maybe a little bit in that fourth quarter when they come back from a 10-point deficit.
How about this? You got BYU, ranked 15th, I think it is. They're at home. They're 17-2 in their last 19, and they're the underdog. How about just playing the disrespect card? Because I don't think it gets any worse than this.
I love it. No, and look, I think that you can make a pretty good case that over the last 2 years, BYU has been the single most disrespected program in college football. Right. I mean, they go on the road and win a game over a playoff team in week 2 last year, and it's like it never even happened.
Amen. Preach.
They obviously go 11-2. I don't think they're talked about as a team like this. And look, I think it was fair to certainly ask questions about their Big 12 chances in 2025 after losing a quarterback. But they've showed to this point, kind of what I hoped, right? That this is a team that will get enough from the quarterback position, and they're really, really good everywhere else. So, I think that this is a team that absolutely deserves more credit than they've got. I think. Here's the thing, we always talk about the idea of obviously the brand names getting a little bit of that credit, like the Alabamas and all that. I think that, in their own way, Utah has been that in this world, right, where they, not unfairly, but have gotten kind of the benefit of the doubt. But you start to see, even as BYU has the success, it doesn't feel like that benefit of the doubt has come to the same extent. Now, what you kind of throw on top of that is, if you win this game, I think that it changes the conversation around BYU this year. I think that all of a sudden you start getting into legitimate top 10 conversations. You start getting into legitimate college football playoff conversations. We're actually doing our second chance expert picks over at cbssports.com right now. They come out this week. And I wish that we could wait one more week so I could see the results of this game. But right now, I have BYU as number 11 in my college football playoff projection. So I think that this is a huge opportunity for this team to kind of rewrite their narrative because, like we've talked about extensively over the years, this is a team that won 11 games last year, that's 6-0 right now, and it does not feel like they're talked about like that.
See, that's awesome. You got to have that writers' roundtable thing. Everybody there at CBS Sports, who's the most disrespected team in America? People love that stuff. And then you can make your BYU pitch, and they'll pitch whoever they pitch.
Well, listen, if they win this game, I think it'll be much, much easier for me to get to pull some of that again next week.
When you step back a little bit and go big picture, I'm embarrassed for the sport that not necessarily that James Franklin gets fired, but that they would fire him knowing that somebody has to pay $49 million. The emphasis on winning is just out of control as far as that goes. And get $49 million, what that can mean for some people who could use that money, obviously, and we're going to pay it to a disposed college football coach because he lost a couple games. I don't know that you're really going to fire him because he lost to Oregon in overtime, but then you throw on the other two, I guess. Obviously, they're bad losses, but somebody thought it was a good idea to go ahead and do that, and they probably already have the donors willing to pay that money. Winning is out of control in this sport.
Well, it's so interesting, right? Because, look, it's been a terrible year. It 100% has. They're the first team in 30 years to lose consecutive games as 20-point favorites. They're the first preseason number 2 since 1965 to start 3-3. There's no underselling just how bad this is, right? But it's one of those situations, right, where, one, James Franklin has won a lot of games over a lot of years. And there's a lot of coaches in college football who have not won at the level that he has. 2, you're going to have to go out and get somebody, and this is ultimately going to be probably when it's all said and done, like a $75 million expense when it comes to paying new staff, paying staff buyouts, paying James Franklin's buyout, all of that, right? So are you going to get $75 million better of coach? I just don't know the answer to that question, right? I just don't know that there's an obvious answer that's a clear upgrade. Now, I think, the early conversation has centered on Matt Rule from Nebraska, a coach who, I know a little bit from his time at Baylor, and I think he's a fantastic coach, Penn State alum. I think he'd do a good job there. Is he clearly doing something different, though, than what James Franklin did? And is he doing $75 million worth more than what James Franklin did? I don't really think so. Again, I'm a big fan of Matt Rule. I don't know that that's the case. And the other piece of this, too, that's been interesting is we've seen other than Jimbo, nothing like this, obviously, but we've seen teams quickly fire coaches when moments go bad, pay big buyouts, have a lot of dead money. But it's almost historically always been in the SEC, where people are more reactionary, where there's more fervency, where there's more urgency. We haven't really seen this almost ever in the Big Ten. Even if you want to talk about just the non-SEC, like Notre Dame paid a big buyout to get Charlie Weiss out of there. I think that it's fair to say that was pretty deserved at the time. But, like, this hasn't happened in the Big Ten or in the North, wherever you want to talk about it. So it's definitely a bizarre situation from that perspective to me of it feels like, obviously the Big Ten has won the last 2 national championships. It feels like that's adding a new level of pressure to other contenders in that conference because if Oregon can pop up, obviously Ohio State and Michigan, Indiana right now is a top 3 team. Like, I think that the pressure is starting to rise quicker than ever. And by the way, Penn State invested a tremendous amount of money in this 2025 roster, and the dividends are not paying out. All of these things are going to add up to, I think, change the dynamics at some of these programs to something very different than it's been historically.
Okay, then just spare me whatever pregame piece on whatever website or whatever TV show about we're here teaching these kids about life and you got to work hard and invest in overtime. Because over here, a guy's 13-3 in the national semis with 2 playoff wins, and he starts 3-0, and 3 weeks later he's fired. This isn't about 5-year rebuilding plans. It's not even about 3 years. It's not about 2, which has turned into a year and a half at Oregon State and at UCLA on down the line. This is now like, no matter how good you are, if you lose 3 in a row, if you have injuries, if the energy goes bad, you lose a big game and the guys got to fly cross country and don't bounce back. Energy went bad to the Eagles and they lost to the Giants. Like, sometimes you don't have it. In football, you need the spirit. Nope, sorry, you guys were down this week. You're gone. Here's your $49 million. Get out the door. It just sounds like the world's upside down to me. And what are we doing?
No, and I think that there's a really good comparison here, right, which is the coaches in the state of Utah, BYU, Kalani, Sitake, they go 5-7 in their first season, and people, freak out a little bit. And, for Utah, right, they have these 2 straight years of being extremely lackluster, including going 5-7 last year. But the focus was always, okay, well, let's figure out if we can get more out of this guy. Let's figure out if we invest in certain ways, if we give him some help, if we give him some time, if they can figure it out. It took 1 dang year for Kalani Sitake to turn 5-7 to 11-2, right? Like, I think that sometimes, and I want to be clear at Penn State too, right? Like, I understand that this was kind of a culmination roster for this team. It was, retaining a bunch of guys who were not promised comeback. There's a really decent chance that Penn State, if they had kept James Franklin, wouldn't have as talented a roster as they do in 2025 for a very long time. But, I mean, again, it's like, do you deal with some of those growing pains that you're going to have to go through, by the way, with a new coach regardless, to try to let him build back? Or do you just kind of say, we're done here? And, it's funny. I have a friend who lives in State College, not a sports fan at all. And he actually works at a church. And he texted me, he's like, why is this old lady cursing James Franklin's name in the church? Who is James Franklin? And I'm like, well, I got a story to tell you. So I understand. Like, the vibes have gotten very bad there. But I think that lack of patience ultimately is going to hurt much more long-term for some of these programs than it's going to help.
Has Indiana erased all doubts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this team is here. This team is for real. It's real and it's beautiful. And I think that you look at last year, I mean, defensively, they hung with the best last year. Like, they gave themselves a chance. It's been the offense that hasn't been ready for prime time. And I point to one particular drive that to me felt like this is a championship drive. After Fernando Mendoza, a really good quarterback, throws a pick 6 to Oregon to tie the game, they go 12 plays, 75 yards, more than 6 minutes for a touchdown to burn more than half of the remaining time in the fourth quarter to physically bully an Oregon team who obviously is really, really good and exceptional in the trenches and put that game away. Like, that's what championship teams do. We thought Georgia do it, by the way, against Auburn. Indiana was able to do the same thing against an Oregon team that was ranked in the top 3. That's impressive stuff. That's the sort of thing that we haven't seen. I thought the addition of Roman Hemby at running back was a very underrated dynamic, and look, he's not gonna get you 7 yards per carry, but he's gonna get you 3.5 really tough physical yards. And I think that that's what this team needed almost above anything else. So this Indiana team is for real. This team, I think, along with Ohio State, are easily the top contenders in the Big Ten. I think they're very much capable of contending for a national championship. And again, it's always hard to go on your first run, right? So hopefully they've had an opportunity to learn from that 2024 team and accomplish even more in 2025.
John, we appreciate it as always. Great talking college football with you. Enjoy the games this week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Shehan Jeyarajah joining us, CBS Sports national college football writer and analyst. Bronco Mendenhall, Aggie football coach, is going to join us next. Back for and a bad second half. We'll talk with him right after the break right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's game week for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. After a trip to Hawaii, Bronco Mendenhall has a short week to get ready for a Friday night showdown in Logan against San Jose State. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Aggie football and your chance to win tickets to the game. Then catch all the play-by-play action beginning with the Aggie pregame show this Friday at 6 on 1280 The Zone. Your exclusive home for Aggie football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join the KSL Sports Zone for a rivalry pregame bash live from UCCU. Enjoy food from Beehive Meals, games, prizes, cash, and tickets to the rivalry game. Don't miss it Saturday from 4 to 6 at the UCCU's Freedom Boulevard branch in Provo. UCCU, love where you bank. Just head on Shehan Jeyarajah and PK. The rivalry game is upon us. He's got a little more faith in BYU's ability to make one or two big plays through the air.
Oh, I think he was saying that they were more diversified. I don't know that he's got faith that they're going to be more.
The receivers are better.
Yeah, but that doesn't. But so what? If Utah runs the ball like crazy, just because you're more diversified, if I do well over here, I don't need to be diversified.
The run game will trump.
Yeah, I don't.
And
think
special teams sits out there.
I don't think he was picking a favorite, unless I misunderstood what he was getting at. I mean, I get it. BYU is more diversified, and Utah's one-dimensional.
DJ PK, we're joined now by Bronco Mendenhall, Utah State football coach, just back from Hawaii. Bronco, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
Bronco, that was about 35 minutes of really good football, but the end of it got away. What changed in your estimation? Last 20 points to Hawaii and 17-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the 17-0 in the fourth. It's interesting you picked up on that. I just barely walked out of a team meeting, and that was my message. We believed it would be a one-score game going over there and playing, and that's exactly where it was going into the fourth quarter, and really just didn't sustain. We weren't as consistent. We weren't as precise. We weren't as clean, and turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter, and therein lies the margin. And so you turn it over twice. They don't turn it over at all, and field position, a couple short field scores, and there it was. And so disappointed that we didn't play well in the fourth quarter. I saw a lot to be encouraged by within our team, but it wasn't a complete game, and that was the difference.
We hear a lot of coaches say the most important stat beyond the final score, obviously, is the turnover margin, and whoever wins that. Do you fall in that category?
You know, I think I do at this time in this league with this team. There's lots of parity in this league. And on any given Saturday, on any given matchup, I'm not sure who the favorite really is, regardless of what the line is. But ultimately, having the ball, so Hawaii had the ball approximately 20 more plays than we did with the same yards per play. We had 9 penalties offensively alone, with procedures or holding, et cetera, which is really the equivalent of, giving up sacks or TFLs to yourself before the play even starts. And so the turnovers certainly contributed, but the 20 less plays self-inflicted by pre-snap penalties or holding during the play, I think really kept us inconsistent until the very end.
To underline what you said about the parity in the league, UNLV is 6-0 and 2-0, and Air Force is 1-5 and 0-4, and that game was 51-48 with 42 points in the fourth quarter, lead changes, and Air Force missed the time field goal. I don't know how you killed time the day of the game, but I stumbled across the end of that game, and that was wildly entertaining. But, man, those coaches, they're stressed.
Yeah. It's so stressful. It's where you can hardly breathe in games like this, and the lingering effect of a game like that for both teams, let alone us coming back from Hawaii and playing Friday night. It's very difficult to describe. We choose it, so I'm not looking for sympathy, but it's an unreal thing. And Air Force, if you look at the amount of points they're scoring, unfortunately, they're struggling, kind of closing out games, and that I'm not sure what team in the league wants to play them, even though they're 1-5. Because it's tough, and I would say that's the same for every team in the league.
You're undefeated at home and you're winless on the road. Now, 2 of those are money games, and then you got the trip to Hawaii. Is it more circumstantial than anything else?
Gosh, it's too early to say. Texas A&M, I think, is a good team. Vanderbilt, I think, is a good team, and that's a long trip. And then Hawaii, and you guys probably didn't hear, but we had mechanical, so we ended up getting there on Friday afternoon to play. And so those are long trips. Ultimately, right, your team has to mature. You have to execute, and you have to be consistent regardless of where you go. And sometimes the challenges of getting there is part of it. But that seasons your team, and it exposes things that you need to work on. And I think that's what's happened with us.
Well, the good news is you're coming all the way back from Hawaii, and natural. We've all made. Every team has some experience with long travel, so you got to recover from that. And the league gave you a short week this week. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I offended, but somebody, which is just kind of how it works. But yeah, Friday night, coming back from Hawaii, which we've already framed it to our team, and right, no one is coming to save us, and nobody cares. You just step up and play, and that's what we'll do.
When you were out of coaching, you did this podcast. I forget what it was called, but I listened to
Head Coach University.
Yeah, there you go. And I listened to several of your episodes that you did. And one of them was when you interviewed, basically you had a conversation more than an interview, but it was more of a conversation with Ken Niumatalolo, who just happens to be the San Jose State head coach. And at that time, you probably had no idea that fast forward a year or two later, and you guys would be squaring off against each other at your respective teams that you coach in universities. Is it, in a sense, I don't know if the word is weird, but what are the emotions going up against a person that obviously you have a lot in common with?
Really haven't even considered it, and I bet he hasn't either. Kenny's son, Ali'i, is on my staff also.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's a family connection. There's also a faith connection. There's an experience connection. And there's a stopping or starting and being a long-time head coach and then kind of a pause. Kenny stayed as an analyst and was working with his son at UCLA while I was in Montana working horses. And now here we are back again. But I think college football is better because Kenny's a head coach. I think the principles, the values, and what he teaches besides the quality of football. And what's fun is their offense is nothing like the option.
Yeah.
It's a complete departure, which is cool also just to see someone taking a different approach in a different place and doing it a different way. But I'm sure the character focus and all the same things that he and I have in common on developing young people is still the same.
Oddly, they've played back-to-back 35-28 games, identical scores, 1-1 and lost one. Lost at Wyoming and beat New Mexico at home. And before that, they played 30-29 and 31-28 games. Feels like it's going to take 30 points to win this game, Coach. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
I think that's pretty much in our league. If you're not 30 or mid-30s plus, that's not going to do it. And so they're And I think those margins of victory are going to be pretty much league-wide on any given Saturday, where it's one-score games, much like the NFL, right, the parity that exists. So, I would expect it to be in that range, and I'd expect it to be close.
The firing of James Franklin, who's obviously won a lot of ball games and is going to be due almost $50 million, to me, to a good degree, it signals that winning and the pressure that lies within that is out of control. What is your thought?
It's the same. When you look at the college landscape and the structural realignments, right, there is only one motive for the realignments from West Coast teams to be part of the Big Ten or elsewhere, and that's simply the finances. So to be clear, I think it's professional sport. I think it's financially driven. I think that's first and foremost on the administrators, the organizers, and any leadership's role. And the coaches, because of that, with the financial investment and the expectation for return, that really kind of dehumanizes the personnel component and makes it bottom line specific. And again, the coaches aren't asking for any sympathy because the dollar amounts being paid, as you just said, are just astronomical. And so with that comes this life that they and we are choosing. That, man, if you're not intentional about somehow trying to do more with your team and these young people than that, you can get sucked into only just the bottom line. And I don't think that's an enriching experience for anybody.
Agreed.
Not only is it not enriching, I just don't think big picture it works. Will there be an exception where it works? Absolutely, right? If 10 schools do this, somebody will hit and it'll pay off. And everybody says, see? And then I'll look over and think, well, yeah, there's 8 or 9 times over here where it didn't work. This seems to me to be a low percentage gamble. And people do go to Vegas and win big, but they only tear down hotels to build bigger hotels in Vegas. So I don't get the logic. It's emotion. It's not logic.
Yeah, and the electric bill alone is financed through people that are willing to gamble on one thing. And for maybe the one place that does it as leaders, again, it just depends on motive, right? If you're intentionally trying to build amazing young people through this game, you become certainly much, much more of an outlier than not. And so James Franklin is a very good football coach. His record says that. They've hit a tough spell, but that's probably where the expectation was to win a national championship, where it wasn't enough, and then willing to pay out or buy out that amount. It might be the most startling statement of anything we're talking about. And it's where do you go from there? You know, with that now as a set point, where do you go in the college landscape? So I'm lucky to be in Logan. I'm lucky to be with these kids, to have it framed, but also to be clear, winning's really important everywhere. And whether you go to Hawaii and come back, and a loss is a loss, and it feels like that regardless of the dollar amount. But the kids still need to be treated great. They need to be taught lessons. And I think what the lessons that particular institution and maybe nationwide is sharing is there's only one lesson, and that's win. And that's unfortunate.
Right. So is that had not necessarily alter your message, but does it factor in? Because you can be the greatest developer of young men that you want, and you're pretty good at it. Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time, and have spoken to many of your former players, obviously, over the years, and they all speak highly of you. But at the same time, if you don't win, you're a bum and you're out the door.
Oh, yeah. And the way that I frame it to our team and kind of in our mission statement, guiding principles, it's the development of young men through championship football. So you have to say both, and you have to do both. Otherwise, you don't get to keep doing it, period.
Yeah.
And that is just the cost of doing business. And so those that really want to add more to the football experience, go for it. It's more time, energy, and effort. It's what fulfills me. But I have to be clear, I love to win. And I like winning championships, and I like winning a lot of games. And so it's not in place of, it's in addition to. And that's a bigger job, but it really isn't valued. It's more when the winning happens at the level that's expected and endorsed at a given institution, man, then they're thrilled with the other things you're doing. But if all you're doing is the other things and you're not winning, nobody cares, and you won't be able to stay.
Yep. Yeah. I remember Robbie Bosco saying that when he was coaching, so that was at least a quarter of a century ago. That part hasn't changed. It's the $49 million buyout that's blowing us away, and I just wonder, the president and the AD who signed off on that, okay, so you're wrong. Are they gone? Or maybe they changed so fast that those people are no longer around to be held responsible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a transient nature, and if you look at the number of athletic directors retiring or being fired or moving on or getting out, I mean, when you have that kind of buyout, again, the precedent that sets, not only for that institution but others, to say that it's that much for winning and winning alone, and it's a startling statement for sure. And I'm glad y'all are talking about it because it's worth contemplating.
Yep. Bronco, we appreciate the time as always. We'll be watching Friday night. Good luck against the Spartans.
All right, thanks a lot. See y'all.
There's Bronco Mendenhall, Utah State football coach, in a hurry to move on because that game's coming quickly. You lose a little time on the flight back from Hawaii, and then you lose a little time because the game's the day earlier. Compressed week. Well, although San Jose has to travel. They're at home, right?
Yes, but you look at Utah State's schedule, to Vanderbilt, to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
Let's go on opposite sides of the planet, practically.
That's not helpful.
Yeah.
That is not. Travel wears people out in every sport, and people who don't play sports, there's a cumulative impact.
And they had mechanical issues, which meant delays, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's normal on anybody's body clock to go to Hawaii and get there on Friday and then come home Saturday night.
No.
Who does that?
Coaches who recruit high school football players, maybe. And even they might be staying 48 or 72 hours.
Oh, yeah.
There was a story about Ray Giacoletti flying to Australia to get Bogut and flying back.
A one-time deal.
Right, one-time deal. But it's like it's business. When you go for like a specific purpose, meeting, whatever, I mean, it's just to go over there and play a game and think you're going to be at peak. And you can never – and the Aggies actually had good results in Hawaii. It's not like everybody who takes a long trip struggles. They'd had – now Hawaii had been down also, and I think Hawaii's a little better right now. But were you shocked that in the fourth quarter at like 1 a.m. on a body clock they started playing poorly?
I was Sunday when I found out.
Right, exactly.
No, actually, I didn't go to bed till around 2.
Oh, really? You stayed
up circumstances.
Yeah, I know.
With the late game.
Right.
Here in town.
Yeah.
So I was there. I was available to check it out.
Check it out, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK, it is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We owe a break here to Jake Hatch, and when we come back, the NFL locks of the week. How we doing? It's not over yet. Monday night doubleheader coming up. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Utes, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Rivalry week is here, and Kyle Whittingham and the Utes head south for a battle against BYU in Provo. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Utah football. Then catch college football Saturday, game day at 10 a.m. with a special Holy War pregame show starting at 4. And when the clock hits 0, hear the postgame show immediately following the game. Holy War coverage on the Zone is presented by UCCU. Love where you bang.
Let's go then. Let's go, baby.
Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealer's strong play of the weekend.
Swung on, blasted, right field. This is gonna go. It is gone. Cal Raleigh, oh Canada, a solo home run, and this game is tied.
There is the Chevy Strong play of the game. Know it today after 3 o'clock. Alex and JJ will call for it, and you can win fabulous prizes.
Absolutely disrespectful. Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
No.
No?
9 home runs in 14 games in Toronto.
Yeah, regardless. Well, it's one game in a 4-game series. It's not as impactful as in a 3 or 5, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, they were able to get one. How come in baseball you You don't steal one on the road in the NBA.
In the NBA, that's the only verb that's allowed.
It's a good point.
I've tried to use other verbs, and the verb police will pull you over and write you a ticket. It has to be steal.
Right. But
stole game one. I guess because the notion that the home court is much more powerful in basketball, where in baseball we don't think it's powerful. For a long time we thought, well, who's your starting pitcher? And now it's how deep is your bullpen or how timely is your hitting?
How deep is your bullpen? How deep is your bullpen?
Sing it.
I really need to know.
And now stop it.
Yeah, the Mariners, man. It sucked you in on Friday night. God, I want to go to bed here.
I know, but I couldn't. They're in the 12th inning. It's going to end soon. They're in the 13th. It's going to end soon.
So Mrs. Hatch doesn't watch a lot of baseball these days, but I was like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed. She's like, you got to finish this thing out. And so
demanding that you
going, and they keep loading the bases or 2 walks. You still couldn't do it.
Detroit just turns a double play on demand.
You know, the thing that I don't understand is how in the fetch do you take Schoolboy out 99 pitches? If he throws 120, is he going to die? Is his career going to be ruined?
Well, and that's the point a lot of people made after the game is like,
no sense.
For you guys lose that game. Oh, season's over. Darn. Well, that extra 20 pitches, man.
He couldn't have gone. Now, maybe they score 3 runs off of him in the next inning, but he was absolutely, obviously so dominant. 14 Ks, and this is what he had. And 99 pitches. Freaking Bob Gibson has rolled over about 20 times. I'll get to your football.
The locks of the week. Yak, you remain undefeated. Unbeaten. Perfect.
Thank you, Colts.
You really weren't sweating that one, were you?
It was tricky there for a minute. When they announced that Kyler Murray was not going to play in this game, I'm like, oh, we got this thing in the bag. But Jacoby Brissett, he stepped up.
And yet, in the end, the Colts win anyway.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor had a really good game. You just hear about the whole with the orbital for Anthony Richardson pregame?
Yeah, he got hit in the eye.
Had a band that smacked him in the eye and fractured his orbital bone.
He's not a good player anyway.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's unfortunate. That sucks for him.
They had a guy pregame get a concussion as well for the Colts.
Yeah, that's why I don't do pregame.
Well, the Colts rallied the fourth quarter and saved your day. So there you go. You're a perfect 6-0 now. I got off the schneid after a tie and a loss. About time one of those locks came through. Thank you, Rams. Nice third quarter right there. 2 touchdowns, quick succession in the third quarter. They won 17-3. And your game is tonight.
I could have sworn I picked the Steelers, but I guess I didn't. No, I'm doubting you.
And I quote, Washington.
No, I'm not doubting you. But I'm the one who made the mistake. I thought, oh, the Steelers, yeah, I got that one. I don't want
you talked about Pittsburgh, but then you flipped late and said I'm going to go with Washington over the Bears.
Okay. I still like that one, but I thought I had Pittsburgh. But I'll use Pittsburgh for another time.
6:15 ABC tonight. We can all see if PK's Commanders come through. There you go. They're yours. You own them. You own them for about 3 hours.
My father's cousin used to be the general manager, and when I was younger in my teens, I did know him.
Charlie Casserly.
And I did call one time, ask for tickets. Well, I was up here in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I called, looked it up. Washington Redskins at the time put me right through. I say, "Can I speak to Charlie Casserly, please?" "Who is this?" I told him. He picked up.
Patrick?
It was so simple. I thought it would be a little bit of a rigmarole to go through, but it wasn't.
Nice.
And I said, "Hey, my parents would like to go to the game. Can you set them up?" "Yeah, sure, no problem."
So is he your uncle, or he's like your second cousin or something?
He was my mother's maiden name. My grandmother's maiden name is Casserly, right?
Okay.
So his father and my grandmother were first cousins. But his father retired to Sun City, and when we moved out to Phoenix, he was the only relative. So I spent a lot of time. In fact, my freshman basketball, I played psycho dude who had just graduated from ASU and got cut from the NFL. I swear he was on roids or something. He was so amped. He chucked the ball at me. He cut a kid's hair in the locker room before a game.
What?
Yeah.
Weird.
He was so intense, right? And so I was on the team, and he didn't like my attitude. And I was.
Is that the guy who chased you, threw the ball at you and chased you?
Yeah,
that story?
Yeah, and we went out to the high school track where Pablo played soccer, and we were supposed to run 4.40s.
That's a funny story, though.
And we take off, and I'm thinking, man, what are these guys doing? We got to run a mile. And they're sprinting, and I'm just, I gotta pace myself. I'll get this. I didn't understand that it was
4:40, take a break.
Yeah.
4:40, take a break.
Because there's two groups.
4:40, take a break.
So he comes barreling across the track at me.
You're going to take that seriously.
But then when I looked at him and I explained it, he realized that I misunderstood. And so he backed off.
At least a little sanity.
Yeah. I just misunderstood. I thought, for some reason in my mind, I didn't realize we were sprinting. And anyway, Cashley's father confronted the coach for not playing me after the game on the floor, after the game. And he comes in the locker room. Was that your grandfather? No, coach, no. And he was not my grandfather, but we ended up being very close to him. And when he died, Charlie stayed at our house. So it was it would have been his second cousin, and I don't know how far you go back for me. But because of the location out in Arizona, we became close to his father while he was alive, and we spent a lot of time driving out to Sun City to be with them.
All right, DJ and PK, when we come back. That was quite the exchange late in the press conference.
Oh, man, I got some stuff to say.
He can't let it go. And eventually, neither did you.
And I'm just getting started.
That's next. Stay with us.
You're kind of quiet, Mr. Sun Devil, back there. Cat got your tongue?
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. All right.
Will you take any significant satisfaction knowing that's the last time you'll beat the Sun Devils?
Check with me later on that, PK. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You know something I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Pass.
Ethan Miller with Teton Wealth will be live in studio with Hans and Scotty Monday to help you with your retirement plan. Tune in or visit retireteton.com. Maybe they can all spend their retirement figuring out what exactly is the relationship between Kyle Whittingham and Patrick Kinahan, that these things keep happening at press conferences.
And it got worse.
It's bad.
It is very bad.
Who writes your stuff?
Go Cougars.
You two guys. Cat got your tongue?
Well, no, buddy. You know who got my tongue? The Cougars got my tongue.
Oh.
I was going to say, well, yeah, I'm a little down. My alma mater lost. But because I'm a nice man and I love people, I did not say, how did your alma mater do today?
Ah.
I wanted to so bad. Where did you go to school? You won't even say the letters. I'll say the U of A.
You cut him some slack.
Yes.
Well, there's a Monday press conference, so you can resume this. Or maybe he will.
I actually don't like when they play each other. I like to downplay it completely. But,
he references it win or lose. We've seen that.
And I don't. Yeah. I certainly don't like it when the Devils win. In terms of, I try to fandom is out the door when it comes to work. I'm not like the folks who sit next to me in the press box at Utah, pumping fists and all that stuff. But they're kids, so I get it. It's a new world in which we live in. I try to maintain neutrality at all times because ultimately it's a game. And friendship should never get in the way of any games, I don't think. Maybe I'm up in the night on that one.
You're old school.
I just don't care enough. Which I think actually if you talk to veterans, which obviously I am in this business, that's a common theme. Most of us have long since lost the true fandom and just take it for what it's worth, entertainment, and go with it. But for them involved, I mean, yeah, this is the stakes. The stakes are as high as they've been in a long time.
Thank you, Patrick.
You're welcome. To have this opportunity here because it's clear that Texas Tech has separated themselves. And then I think there's three other teams. Now, that could change. Teams can go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak, but I don't anticipate that. And so with that in mind, I think that the second representative in Texas will come from Cincinnati or the 2 locals. And whoever wins this game obviously has a leg up. And for BYU, it would be massive because you'd have 2 legs up.
Counting all the 2-loss teams out, everybody's lost 2 or more?
I think they've all got issues. So, yes.
There's 9 of them. There's 3 unbeatens and 4 one-loss teams. And Tech is unbeaten. BYU, Cincinnati, also 3-0, right there with them.
Right.
I know you're a Sun Devil and you're enjoying this.
Which I didn't.
That's a long time ago now. That's almost a decade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe it is a decade.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a nice little thing. The fact is they've played 14 times, and it's split right down the middle, 7-7. But for these 2 teams here, I think for Utah, it's virtually a must-win game.
It is.
You don't want to fall 2 behind BYU.
The second loss, and you wouldn't have the tiebreaker to 2 of the 3 teams that are undefeated?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want any part of that.
I like the fact that both teams are playing Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati has the advantage because they don't play Tech. BYU and Utah do. Cincinnati, Texas Tech game, if it happens, will have to be the Big 12 title game.
Well, of the 4 teams that I have on contending right now, 2 of them don't play Tech.
Tech.
And Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Houston, Baylor, and ASU are all 2-1. We're counting them all out? Yes.
I am, yeah.
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 Even though they're sitting there 2-1, I mean, it could happen.
Who has to play Texas Tech? Now, Houston has already had
Baylor doesn't, but Baylor does have to play Cincinnati and Utah, which is how they could, play themselves back into this a little bit.
They could. Yeah, they could.
And they skip Tech. They've already beaten Oklahoma State. They don't play West Virginia. So as far as the extremes, I mean, after you get past those teams, it feels like anybody can beat anybody. I mean, Arizona could have beaten BYU. They obviously did not. But, double overtime, they could have. Anyone can beat anybody. Now, you want to set aside Oklahoma State and West Virginia at the bottom and Tech at the top.
Yeah, I would go UCF towards the bottom, too. I would want to have West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and UCF on my schedule.
Does UCF play anybody down the stretch that matters? Oh,
BYU.
Tech and BYU. Yeah.
Texas Tech has they got all the money and they got a cake schedule.
And we'll see this. There's 2 games they could lose. But if Arizona State, Leavitt isn't going to play, and the run defense looks like it's in tatters right now.
And it's in Tempe, and they're favored by over 10.
10. Everybody's on board with Tech right now.
As they should.
They had the storyline, and they backed up the promise.
This is what they did in softball. They bought a premier pitcher in the game, and she took them all the way to the final. It's the same thing with football. Good for them.
Yeah,
they're not cheating that we know of. Everyone probably is to an extent, but what is cheating anymore?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
ASU and BYU would be the games that look big for them. They still play Oklahoma State and West Virginia and UCF.
I know they do.
We're sitting here discussing which of the 3 is the worst, and Tech's like, we got them all. We'll let you know.
Right. And they've been destroying everybody.
Yeah, and they ought to destroy those 3. That would be a massive upset if one of those 3 does anything.
Right, and it's great. And then Hammond can get plenty of playing time, so he's ready to hit the ground running next year when Morton goes, and away they go. But leading up to this game, it's the stakes are extremely high, which is why I love having them both be in the same conference. Before, it was sort of bragging rights and that type of thing, and we play it up. But now it has legitimate claim for playoff implications. And obviously, they didn't have the expanded playoff there, and neither team was probably going to get in. But now both teams can lay claim to legitimate chances to make the playoff. Absolutely they can. There's no doubt about it. If BYU goes to 7-0, oh my goodness gracious.
They really need to. I mean, their schedule coming up, as much as Texas soft, BYU has got to go on the road, and they've been tested here. I mean, they handled East Carolina pretty easily, but they've been tested in the other 2 road games.
No question.
And on paper, these 3 road games look way more difficult than the 3 they've already won.
And who are they?
They're going at Iowa State, at Texas Tech, and at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Not in a row, but 3 out of 4 on the road after Utah, with a bye mixed in.
With a bye, they have a bye, yeah.
So it'll be 3 of those in 5
Everyone
weeks.
has a bye coming.
Yeah.
We talked about it. This is the toughest 5-game stretch that they've ever played as a program, and I think that's true. And if you want to extend it to Arizona and go 6, yeah, great. Absolutely, sure.
So,
and they're going to have to win a bunch of one-score games.
Right.
And so far they have. And I think they'll probably have to do it this week. I wouldn't anticipate a big blowout, a big discrepancy. You never know. But I wouldn't anticipate it.
We haven't had many of them. It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Even in years where it looked, last year, BYU's a 10-win team, and Utah's playing 5 different quarterbacks, and I guess they were down to their 3rd one at that point.
Yes, Rose, I think, started now.
And it's a 1-point game, and BYU comes from behind right at the end.
I do think that they're going to have trouble getting away with the turnovers that they've had against Colorado and Arizona.
BYU coughs them up, Utah will make them pay.
Yes, or, the one, he had 2 interceptions. The one I thought was a really bad throw. The snap that went and he picked it up. He was running almost not entirely across his body. His feet weren't set. Yeah. I don't think he had a moment to survey the field to see where the coverages were coming from. He saw a man open in a flash and chucked it. And obviously it got intercepted. I think the other one, the DB made a nice play. Sometimes you have great coverage and the ball's complete. Other times the defensive back makes a great play, or whoever, the screen that he had a couple of weeks ago. That it was his first pick. I thought that was a very nice play.
It was a good play.
So
maybe
live with that.
Maybe when he's a veteran, he's played 20 games.
Right.
He'll just think there's too much traffic. I'm not throwing it. Right, but it was still a good play.
Right. But the one where he off the snap that bounced up and is moving, I thought, nah. Either try to run it, look someplace else, or throw it away.
And maybe the conditions will be different. They were obviously horrific up there in Salt Lake. Not that they were great in Arizona. They had a long delay. But Devin Dampier threw one down the middle, and Bentley bailed him out. He basically broke it up. That looked
Correct.
like it had pick written all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that and then Kyle preaches turnover margin all the time, blah, blah, blah. So I think ball security, as they say, will be of utmost importance. And as always, this rivalry game seems to really be a nail biter that is decided by a play here, a play there, a call, a lack of a call, all those types of things that we had last year. But the cool thing now is Utah is legitimately playing for something. They knew at that point last year that their season was over. You wanted to upset them still. And they certainly balled out. They just came up a play short. I do think that this year, though, they know full well that they have a legitimate, and they want Texas Tech again. And I was surprised, we talked about this earlier, that Kyle went so strong on Dampier's injury. It's sort of, not entirely, but it's sort of was along the line of excuses.
If he believes it, whenever someone says something in a press conference they really believe, there's so many cliches and so much blah, blah, blah. It's great. I don't want to throw it back. I am a little surprised that the guy who loves surprises, the guy who doesn't want to give up any injuries or any position battle, did you see a depth chart on that big 11x17 two-sided thing they handed out?
They never do.
No. He likes surprises. So if he really believes that, which I think he does, whether it's true or not, he believes it. I'm surprised he doesn't keep it as a surprise. Like, they have no idea what they're getting into if they see a healthy him. And he may well believe that. He may be right. Time will tell. We'll see if they get that second shot at him.
Yeah, the problem is, though, then you have to open the door for would the Devils have beaten Utah with Levitt?
And you can go down all that road.
And I would say absolutely not. Nor do I think a healthy Dampier would have beat Texas Tech.
Usually doesn't go down this road. And he went down this road twice now, and he really didn't have to Saturday night. He could have just ended his answer before he got to that point. It would have been fine. So I'm thinking he really believes it, which intrigues me, and I'm like, well, now I want to see him play again.
So then you clearly are rooting for Utah over
BYU. Either that or we have to get 3 teams in the playoff and they have to meet there.
Well, that's not going to happen.
And only if Utah would beat BYU.
And I don't. Yeah. And then you would have to have another success in the playoff because they're not going to have each other play. The Big 12 isn't going to get 2 teams and have them square off in the first
round, right? And not to be total Debbie Downer here, as the rivalry week is just kicking off. But doesn't it look to you right now like of all the scenarios, Texas Tech Cincinnati is the most likely? There's clearly multiple scenarios on the table.
No.
Oh, really?
Well, I will say no because I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I obviously haven't put as much thought into it as you have by virtue of you bringing that up.
Yeah.
So in my mind, no. Because I think that whoever wins this game, the rivalry game, they're the team that's in.
If I'm Cincinnati, I'm rooting for BYU because BYU's got all these rough these road games, and Cincinnati knows they got to play them both. But Utah could pick up a second loss here, and BYU could pick up a second loss.
Yeah, but I don't really. If I'm Cincinnati, I don't care.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because I play them both. If I'm that good, what difference does it make?
Because I think it's
you're not going to backdoor getting in.
Oh, I think you can.
No, if you backdoor getting in, you're going to get your petunias blown off in Arlington, so it doesn't matter anyway.
And don't you think that's the most likely scenario?
I don't know.
Texas Tech beats Cincinnati but I get it from Cincinnati's perspective. You're right. Cincinnati thinks we're going to keep rolling.
I could care less.
We're going to take them down. We're going to take them down, and then we'll get to Arlington. We'll take down Texas Tech. That's what Cincinnati's thinking.
If you don't think that, you've got no chance. Everybody has to think we are the team. We're not only going to get there, we're going to win, and then we're going to win a bleeping playoff game, and then we'll see where we're at. You have to think like that. You must believe it from the top to the bottom.
To achieve it. Yeah, you got to believe it to achieve it.
So if I'm Cincinnati, I don't care who wins. Then whatever. Good for you. You won. Now we'll beat you, and you'll even be higher ranked, and you'll have more prestige. So our win over you and you, because they play them both, will catapult us even higher to the point where we'll get a home game.
Now, don't go out and lose to Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, and screw this whole discussion up. Yeah, I know. They shouldn't. They won't.
They won't at all. I mean, they can play. That ought to be a split squad game. Have half your teams. You're not even playing.
A little NHL preseason split squad.
Just relax. I was thinking more baseball.
Yeah,
but with that in mind, come on. Cincinnati now, they are on top of the world. All they have is a close loss to Nebraska. Week 1, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And so they've rallied around the quarterback, who's very, very good. The running game is outstanding. They've got a recipe, and they're feeling great. And BYU and Utah ought to be feeling great. There's 4 teams that feel great. Everybody else is still trying to find themselves. Everybody else is talking themselves into we're good. The other 4 don't have to talk themselves into we're good. I think Kyle was playing a little psychology there. Oh, man, yeah. Guys, if this kid was healthy, we don't lose 34-10 or whatever it was. No, we win that game. So he's playing a little mind games. I get it. That's everybody does it. Why should he be any different? And so in that regard, that's what he's doing. So fine. I don't believe it. I think they got their butts kicked with or without Dampier. And if Dampier was so unhealthy, then that's your fault for playing him. After you saw the first quarter, the second quarter, the third, and you still run him out there in the fourth quarter? He hadn't done jack at that point.
If he can't move, give Ficklin a chance.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was the
Flip him the bird.
It was nice. Work on that. You can refine that. When we come back, everything you missed in this show. Next, Slacker headlines are on the way.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's another edition of the Holy War as BYU returns home for another chapter in the BYU-Utah rivalry game at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with a special Holy War pregame show starting at 4. And when the clock hits 0, hear the postgame show immediately following the game. Holy War coverage on the Zone is presented by UCCU. Love where you bet. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Slacker Radio Headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at trajanwealth.com. Watching Utah beat Arizona State, I was reminded of watching Utah beat UCLA Scores are almost the same, 42-10, 43-10. Both games are over at halftime. Utah ran the ball with complete ease in both of those games. It's like I was watching it all over again, PK. How much do you think Arizona State just knew, hey, our offense can't do it, and it wasn't the best performance from the defense, but they were down without Sam because he's the guy and he's the emotional leader and he's the guy they all believe in.
Sucks for them, but
it really does.
So what?
So what? You got to play without him.
Yeah. Utah went through it last year, and everybody goes through it at some point, and hopefully they don't go through it again. And Dampier can stay healthy, but yeah, that's what they do. He's not a passer, and he's a runner. He's an electric runner. Yeah. That's why I don't think why you think Merriweather should have more catches. Anybody who goes to Utah should plan on very few catches.
He went deep and got underthrown again. He's going to keep seeing that. Is this the week Jay Hill brings everybody down? He sees all these underthrown balls, and he's like, let's just fully commit to stopping the run. Bring the extra guy.
Everybody does when they play them.
Yeah. Kyle said Texas Tech didn't. He said they just played them straight up.
Well, they didn't have to.
They didn't have to. I agree.
So if you don't have to, you don't. Yeah. I mean, obviously, don't do that if you don't have to. There's no reason to do it. There's no reason to throw the ball if you can run on them. Why? It's the safest way to win. It's boring for some folks, but it's also the safest way. And in the end, if you're a fan, what difference does it make which way you get it? You're just going. You're looking for the win to satisfy you.
The fans who stuck it out looked pretty happy. Didn't really care about the throwing game.
It's rarely good.
Yeah.
And if you're expecting it to be good this year, you're going to be disappointed.
Nope. It's going to run the ball, and can they run it for 276 or 286 or whatever, which is what they've done here to UCLA and now to ASU and to several other teams along the way. But
yeah, right.
For BYU, great start, great finish. The middle, not so much, but they overcame, persevered, and won. So perfect 6-0. Never throw back a road win. Well, never throw back any win, but especially not a conference road win. And they got it.
Right.
Good to see Bear Bachmeier struggle, make mistakes. It didn't go well. He said he was the problem there in that first drive in overtime. He made some mistakes there, didn't elaborate on what they were, but clearly got it figured out in the second time and got in the end zone and won the game.
Yeah, I like the plays that they're calling for. A-Rod's calling for the Rockmeier.
Run him the right way.
Yeah. It was clear on that touchdown. He acted like he was going to throw, but he was going to cut upfield. And he did, because he can get that 6-7 yards that you need and got him into the end zone. He's not Dampier, but obviously Dampier's not Bachmeier either. So you've got that going on. And so put in the plays that allow him to succeed and have him continue to grow and have him continue to make mistakes. There's nothing better for him than to make a bunch of mistakes and a win. Maybe not a bunch, but a few that allow him to see it, okay, do this, do that. And the team, I think you brought up a point that is very, very crucial to what's going on here.
Bachmeier believes in himself, but now the team's believing in him too.
Yeah, and I think, the defense believes in him. Everybody believes in him. The fans believe in him. They're ecstatic that they got him. You're figuring, well, this is as good as it gets. You're 6-0 with a freshman quarterback who's going to be around at least 2 more years. You never know with the transfer portal, but that's what we believe. And it seems like in this case he'd be foolish to go someplace else anyway. So as long as he's out there, continue to get better. And they do have enough of a passing attack that they can legitimately claim we can throw the ball through the air if we need to. You know, he threw for 350 here a while back, and he hits Kingston on the crossing pattern, and the kid's got blazing speed, and he outruns everybody, and so that's what you got there. And we've seen Chase Roberts have some big games, and Carson Ryan's capable and all that stuff. So, yeah, they've got enough to beat you, and they've got enough to beat Utah. That's for sure. I probably say this every year, but I think this is the most anticipated game between these two at least since 2009.
Which coincidentally is the last time they were both ranked.
Right. Obviously. That's why, I purposely went that far. I looked it up. And, and that was a great game, too. And here we go again. And now so much at stake. It's not just, I've been involved in the Territorial Cup where it's a lot of 4 and 7s. And it's still fun to go 4 and 5 and 7.
You still want to win the game, but this is different.
Right. To have the stakes be there. And I don't know when the last time the U of A and ASU have had those stakes. It's like one's up, the other's down.
Yeah, they haven't both been up at the same time.
The last
really.
2 years, that's exactly what happened. Jed Fish has got his team winning 10. The Devils only winning 3. And then in 12 months, it totally flips. And
coaching changes transfer portal.
And both games were blowouts.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if it's going to be a blowout, you want your team to be on the end of the winning end. Like last year in the Territorial Cup, I was in St. George, and it was a beautiful day. And I knew that I don't want to waste this day watching a blowout, so I didn't even watch the game. I checked the score.
ASU's going to rout Arizona, and it was great golf weather, so
That's
took
what
the
I
golf.
Did. Yeah. I was with a Ute fan who he told me there's no way I'd have to be watching the game. I said, well, I'm wired differently. And you'd much rather have with the stakes being high and have it be so crucial and the intensity. That's the great thing about playoff baseball is the intensity builds. You just go back to Friday night, and you can see the people in the stands because it just matters every pitch. And if it's ball 3 count, we may get a runner on with a walk and all that. And so because of the nature of it, the intensity builds. And it's not like in basketball, you're going to get runs. And they're going to come, so see where we're at in the fourth quarter. No, here, if you go up 21-0 in the first quarter, that could be it.
Yeah.
And then you win the game that way, or you win the game 28-7. So every minute, every possession, every play, it really matters, and that's what we're going to have. The stakes are extremely high because certainly, for both teams for that matter. This Utah, you cannot afford another loss. And BYU, you don't want to lose to these guys because
the 3 road games coming up.
The tiebreaker, and we
and the tiebreaker too, yeah.
We've pinpointed this game as the start of the toughest 5-game stretch you've got, and so basically, that if you lose a home game in this, that's just going to make it that much more difficult. When you go out on the road, then that becomes must wins and all that stuff, and so that's where we're at. So. Where we're at as far as the stakes right now couldn't be any higher. It's still a little bit of a mystery as opposed to playing the last game of the season where most everything is laid out before you. But that just adds to the intrigue even more because they have other games. And, if you win this game but then turn around and lose your next 2, well, whoop-de-freaking do. You won the rivalry game, but that's not good enough.
Yeah, the closer you get to the dream, the more you want it.
Yeah. And the playoff now finally is legitimate for these teams. And I don't think it ever was legitimate. And now it is. And it's there. And it's potentially there for the taking. And both of you, I believe Texas Tech will be in. And both of you, that would be the second time you would be playing Tech. And what changes there? What do we see, if anything? So all that stuff that's out there, all Big Fox coming in on all that stuff. And the BYU fans will be jumping up and down, hooting and hollering and all that. And that'll be fun, and we'll get to that as the week progresses. And then it's on regular Fox at 6 o'clock. That's 8 o'clock back east. I mean, it's 7 o'clock in the Central. We all know the time zones. And so your program is on full display. Everybody could see it. For years, I think people knew about BYU and maybe not Utah as much. Well, now that's changed. And so, wow, what a recruiting opportunity exposure-wise for both programs. I mean, if somebody loses 28-27, it's not like, oh my gosh, we're screwed recruiting. You know what I mean? So
especially with the transfer portal,
you don't want to
yeah.
have a 44-10 matchup. If your team is winning, you do. But for exposure-wise, you just really have to play a hard game, and there's going to be a winner and loser. We already know that. But the exposure that both these programs are going to get is something that you can't purchase there.
People who are channel surfing between games, you hit a commercial break or halftime or whatever, Tennessee, Alabama on ABC, USC, Notre Dame on NBC, and Utah and BYU on Big Fox.
Right. And if you're a college football fan and you're sitting at home,
you're going to channel surf. You know it's a 2.5, 3 minute commercial break.
And if you go to a sports bar and they got multiple TVs, cold beers and cheeseburgers as it is in the Phoenix area.
Place in Tempe?
It's multiple. It's a chain, but it's just in the valley. They've got one up in left field at the ballpark.
But you go wherever.
Several.
Yeah, you go any place that's going to have.
You're going to be checking that
10
out.
10 or 20 TVs.
Yeah. I've got to be at the game. I would much rather be at a sports bar eating a burger and chugging down a cold one and watching the games. There'll come a time for that. What are you laughing at, Yak?
I just want the image of you chowing down on a burger and drinking a cold one at a sports bar.
And of course, he meant a Coke Zero.
I know, but I just don't. Here's the thing. I love you, PK.
But he alluded.
I don't see you hanging out at Buffalo Wild Wings or anything like that.
I have gone to cold beers and cheeseburgers to watch. In fact, that's what I did.
Didn't you broadcast from there?
You did. I thought you did.
What did you broadcast from? The Fiesta Bowl.
Oh, that was a local one, McDuffie's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was McDuffie's. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there was cold beers and cheeseburgers then. That's a chain that's popped up throughout the valley.
No, it's newer.
But yeah, that was just we did multiple shows.
Yeah.
McDuffie's was, and then that was incredible. But yeah, actually last year, because
McDuffie's was the same kind of place, right? There were 20 TVs and
After the BYU ASU game, I did go to cold beers and cheeseburgers so I could watch football. I've been to that place, well, multiple locations, many times over with family and friends. Yeah, what do you mean I can't go to a sports bar? What the hell?
I just don't see you hanging out with the people rather than sitting in your man cave watching the game.
Well, I know, but I'm in Phoenix. I don't have a man cave.
But I'm saying that you're on the road, that's a different story. I'm talking about here as you be on the home
he's more of a
turf.
troubled loner, and he's going to be downstairs in the basement. Yeah.
If I'm home?
Yeah. That's what he's getting at.
Sure, if I'm home.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I'm not home on Saturdays anyway. That just happened to be a day game, and we went out with Jill. You know Jill. You never met her, but you know her.
I know her life story. I know where she owns property. I know about her kids. I know her favorite sport. I know her kids' favorite sports.
So we went out.
Yeah.
And we watched. Of course, I can't remember who was playing. I believe the Utes were playing later that day, and I want to watch the Utes.
Got to watch the locals.
Yeah.
Even when we're on the road, we've all gone to lengths to see a game, to go to a place.
Yeah. And that was at the end of the season, obviously, but still, I feel obligated to always watch these two. That's what I had Saturday night at the at Rice Eccles. I had on my computer, I had the BYU Arizona game on. I got to watch it. I got to be informed as what's going on here. But Yak, I mean, now that I think of it, man, when this thing wraps up in, I think I've targeted, I know Danny Pugh is targeted today. He's going to step aside. In 2034, when I'm done.
2034, huh?
In 2035, I'm going to spend every Saturday at a sports bar. I got to check out what are the best sports bars in Maui.
I got one for you in San Diego. You can sit on the sidewalk. You don't even have to go in the place. Sit on the sidewalk. And there, the college football starts at 9 a.m. Great breakfast place, Yak. You'll love it.
Well, I was just saying for PK, he can start at 6 a.m. if he's in Hawaii.
Ask Maddie about it. She was just there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your feedback is next. You know, people can see the exact same thing and think completely opposite. We'll get to that next.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
Join Hans and Scotty G Tuesday from noon to 3 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East in Sandy. So PK and I were both up at the Utah-Arizona State game Saturday night, and you suggested we tape a little something on the field afterwards. We posted it, and people see the same thing and have dramatically different responses.
Now, what did I get ripped about now?
TGI 56. I appreciate you both being here with us tonight.
Okay. Reasonable.
Tanner, don't you clowns have a BYU game to cover?
Oh, Tanner's a younger guy. He's got to be a younger guy who's caught up in the rivalry thing. You can tell the perspective of people. It still matters the world to him, and good for him that he chose to comment. That means he viewed it.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, that used to bother me in my younger years. Oh, am I going to be able to survive this?
It turns out we can.
Yeah. Now
and people just see what they want to see.
It's not. I don't view myself as untouchable. I still want to keep my edge, But I don't need clicks. I don't need to say anything for ratings or any of that stuff.
Nobody's untouchable. You're just not vulnerable to that.
Right. Yeah. That stuff is in one ear, out the other.
Petty AFU fan. Utah needs to get a big enough lead that it'll be impossible for the refs to steal the game for BYU like they did last year and like they just did to Arizona.
Yeah, I know, man. I can't believe that the refs, after that penalty, allowed the Cougars to get right down the field in field goal range. What they did there, that was embarrassing.
Utah dominates Arizona State in every aspect. How high are your expectations now? Johnny's dance party, a healthy quarterback equals a good team. They could blow through the league right now and face Texas Tech again, potentially.
Oh, I think they would blow through Texas Tech.
There it is. 12-1. What are they seeded? That's the only question in your mind.
12-1, number one.
Eric, Utes going to have a nice season. Maybe 3 losses total, but they're going to miss out on anything special.
Remains to be seen. Possible.
Could lose to BYU, could lose to Cincinnati, be 9-3, right where Eric thought.
Which is a good season.
It is a good season.
Yeah. But now with the playoff being realistic, I get it. You've got several teams shooting for that. And if that little sorry program in Tempe can do it, certainly you can. I mean, you are in a much higher plane than they'll ever dream of, and they got there. And so everything is realistic. I have a hard time for final judgments being, if you didn't get there, as a disappointing season. It could be a disappointing aspect, but the season can still be positive.
Brett says expectations about the same as they've been. Great defense, serviceable quarterback, and offense. I think the offense is a good group of 5 offense, but I don't think it's really power 4 level. If they can hold their opponent to 20 and score 21, it should work. Those have been my expectations, and they continue to be. So it sounds like Brett's pointing for 9-3 as well. It's better than a group of 5, power 4. First off, those distinctions aren't as neat as you'd like to think they are. There's plenty of good power 5 teams who can beat bad power 4 teams, blah, blah, blah.
Not group of 5 is what you meant. You said power, but
group of 5, yes.
Yeah, we've often said that the top of the group of the 5
can beat the bottom of the power 4.
We've said that for years, and that's shown.
And it's still true. And
I don't see why it wouldn't be. But I think right now you should be thinking getting to Arlington. If you're a fan, if you're a Utah fan, I've got no problem with you believing that is not just a goal, but is legitimate, reachable, attainable goal.
It's mid-October in a 16-team league. For 9 teams, it would now take a miracle. 3 seems unlikely, but it's mathematically it's sitting right in front of them. For 3 teams, it seems very possible, and for 1, it seems very likely.
Yeah.
I don't really have the 4-4-4-4 thing you've been breaking out the Big 12 in. I suppose you still could. You can break that out tomorrow.
Utah is an extremely legitimate goal. Utah is where it needs to be right now. Much, much work to be done. But the other 3 teams, even Texas Tech, has a lot of work to be done. It's just that the workload seems a lot easier.
Because it is.
Than what the other 3 have to achieve. But all those other 3, Cincinnati and the 2 locals, absolutely. Now, obviously, you're going to be thinking about BYU, but we're talking about the fans. We're not talking about the players or the coaches.
DJ PK, Jake and Ben are next right here on The Zone.